Hello, greetings, salutations, and namaste to all you lovely listeners out there. Welcome to another episode of the Tree of Geek, The Witching Hour. Tonight, we are three. I am one of your co-hosts, Michael, and as always, here is Josh, and over there we have our beautiful John this evening. The power of three will set us free. For all you Charmed fans out there, that's right, we're talking about witches, sorcerers, enchantresses, and any other magical type this evening. Specifically, our top 5 favorite fantasy magical users. We're not saying here we're going to grab the most powerful, like, oh, Wand is the most powerful, or it's Merlin. No, it's definitely Gandalf. No, we're not here to discuss and debate who could beat whose ass here, okay? We're talking about our 5 favorites that speak to us, that resonate with us. Okay, that's what we're doing here. Now, it doesn't mean that they're not powerful. I mean, some of these might stomp a mud hole in somebody's ass. It's quite possible. But that's what we're going to do. But before we get there, before we get into the meat and potatoes of that, before we even get into the whole giant list I have made of the possibles that could be on this list, we need to do our section called New and Geek, where we talk about what is new in our geek world, whether it's new anime shows we've watched or new wrestling or, whatever it is. So let's let our co-host, our new co-host, our returning co-host, I don't know, this guy over here.
Our full-time co-host.
Yes.
Sorry, full-time, part-time.
He's part of the Tree of Geek Extended. It's like we have the tree fort, but he's just in like a little shack outside on the ground. We occasionally throw him some scraps, but, here he is. John, tell me, what is new in your world of geek?
So my thing that's new in geek culture today is I'm actually watching out the new Solo Leveling. It's a new anime. Well, not really new anime, but it's like something I have like interest.
How old is this anime?
To me, it's about a year old.
Yeah, I mean, did it come out a year ago?
Probably a little more than that.
So just a couple years old, but you're discovering it new now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And so, what's the basic synopsis of this?
Basic synopsis, so there's these world rifts that happen and allows like mythical creatures to come through like these gates. So people have to go in and close these gates, otherwise these creatures can come into our world.
So it's like a cat comes in your bedroom, but like you have to adventure to shut the door to make sure your cat doesn't come in at night.
Yeah.
That's what I just heard.
Just about, yeah.
Those cats can get mythical and angry, man, I'm telling you.
But the minute these gates opened, all these people were able to get like superpowers, but like they're based off rank. So you have rank S, A, B, C.
Who made the ranks?
I have no
Nobody
clue.
knows.
It's just like it's a ranking system that these people just randomly came up with.
If I was to watch this, where would I go?
I usually watch it on Crunchyroll.
Okay, I keep hearing this Crunchyroll. Explain. Is this a TV network? Is this a streaming service?
Streaming service, yeah.
So it's like Netflix, only purely anime?
Correct.
Okay. Crunchyroll, streaming service. Got it. What else you got going on, man?
So this just got the new Dynasty Warriors Origins game. So that's actually turned out to be pretty decent.
Are you doing your thumb exercises to button mash the shit out of that?
Yep. Absolutely.
I remember the first time I watched you play Dynasty Warriors, like fucking 20 some odd years ago. I don't know what version it is you were playing. This dude just goes out of a palace and there's like, I don't know, fucking 10,000. He's just with his swords. And I was like,
it's a button smasher.
He's here, you try it. And I was like, what do I do? And he's like, just hit the buttons. And that's what I did.
Hack slash and have fun.
Yeah. How does this one compare like visually to the past ones?
Freaking stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like storyline so far is really good. Like I'm still getting used to the new character, but I'm like, okay, because it's like some random like soldier they meet and you can play around with the storyline. Yeah. As far as the frame rate, everything, like you can choose how your frame rates are. So I have mine up to the max setting. So the rendering is
great. You're going to break another TV. That's what I just heard.
Probably. So the first time I played a Dynasty Warriors was on a PS2 demo disc that you used to get in the old like PlayStation magazines that they would send out.
Okay.
I don't remember which one it was, but it's the same
Even
thing.
I remember one of those
button
magazines.
smash.
I had it had like one level or 2 levels of some Xbox game on it.
Yeah. That's where I first played Final Fantasy X. Was on one of those demo discs.
You see, kids, back in the day, you had to go physically to a store, find a magazine, buy the magazine, get the disc, make sure you got the proper device to put it on. It wasn't like, click the download button.
Yeah.
No, the things were a lot harder back in the day. And then, oh man, my CD's scratched. It won't play.
Well, nowadays, you can't even find a physical copy of Baldur's Gate without paying, a small car loan for it.
Well, it was a Japanese one over $100.
Yeah, it was like 120 for the deluxe special physical edition. When did physical editions become special editions?
I don't know. John, do you have anything else?
Nope, that's really about it.
No TV shows or movies that were new and geekish?
Nope,
Nothing?
just waiting for that new Lilo and Stitch movie to come out, and I'm actually a fan of that. So unlike y'all,
No, whoa, hey, whoa, shots. All right, you said I don't like.
All right, let me clarify. I definitely
Whoa.
said on one of the last ones that it was never my thing. Michael said that he was, too old when it came out.
I mean, it was an all right movie for a kids movie. I don't hate it or anything, but I'm not. We did say we're not going to go to the theaters and see it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but I don't hate it.
I'll watch a blue possum kill stuff.
Yeah. What about you, Josh? What is new in your world of geek? I just want to be like Hercules, and I don't know why. I just want to.
All right. Well, buckle in. I got a whole list here. No, I don't. So the Silo season 2 finale aired on the same day that we are recording this, and unfortunately, I'm recording this instead of watching it. So I am all but one episode done with season 2.
I am as well. I was so mad it wasn't on last night because I wanted to talk about it today.
So, see, that's the thing. Normally, we record on Thursdays. The show comes out on Thursdays. Oh, we pushed this week to Friday, and they did the finale on Friday.
It's a goddamn conspiracy.
But
Here.
that being
It's a
said,
gosh darn conspiracy.
gee, golly darn it. That being said,
Willikers.
the season 2 plot line so far, I mean, it's still, like I said with season 1, I've said it every time we brought it up, it's holding really nicely to the book.
I'm not gonna say who it is, but that guy that becomes the new Shadow, I love that. I love that guy.
Oh, he's
just
great.
really cool, man.
I've seen him in stuff before, but when I looked him up on IMDb, I couldn't find anything I recognized. It was weird. But that being said, I'm loving it. It is such a good book to screen adaptation. If you haven't seen Silo, it's
Apple
on
TV.
Yes, Apple TV. Go check it out.
John, watch it.
Apple TV, if you want to sponsor us, please just reach out. Speaking of fun, awesome Apple TV-ness, today, Severance Season 2, Episode 1 dropped. I have not gotten to watch it yet either, but I am unbelievably excited. I'm hoping you guys are as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow.
I did find out the other day that my buddy Eric has apparently been watching Season 1. So, Eric, I know you'll reach out to me when you hear this. You always do. I want to know what you thought of it, because I know our tastes in movies and TV are very, very different.
Nothing wrong with that.
Unless
you're wrong and we're right.
Very, very different. Like that YouTube video I sent you of the girl making the giant tome book.
Yeah, the one I fast-forwarded through, yeah.
Yeah, he said that it would be a good video if you just jumped to 27 minutes and watched the last couple minutes. And then make a separate video for the making of. See, I disagree. I liked the making of. I thought it was a great.
Listen, those Mariska or Miranda, whatever her name is, and her boyfriend on there, they have a crap ton of followers on their YouTube channel.
What's it called? The
Nerd Forge.
Nerd Forge, yeah. On YouTube. I'm pretty sure that's
I think there's a lot of people that watch their videos. I've heard of them, but
I just found her the other day. She's got brightly colored hair.
Him. There's two of them.
Well, yeah, but I mean, she's got like the bright colored hair. He doesn't, but the stuff they make is just mind-blowing.
What do you say? They're Romanian or
I don't know.
Norway.
They're
from Norway.
accent.
Norwegian. I apologize. Yeah. Rome, Norway. They're the, whatever. I'm Norwegian.
They're in that sector of the world.
Scandinavia.
I also loved the Creature Commandos finale. I'll let you talk about that one a little bit.
No, you can go ahead.
Well, no, I'll let you talk about it.
I have plenty to talk about, man.
Because John reminded me when he was talking about, what was that anime you said?
Solo Leveling?
Someone just told me about a new show, and by new, I mean they released it all, the season. It finished in December. On, looks like Amazon Prime Video, called Secret Level. Have you heard of it?
Negative.
No.
I haven't.
Secret. How would I have heard?
So I haven't watched it
access.
yet. I have full intentions to. I added it to my watch list.
Cartoon?
Yeah, so it's, I guess you would call it almost like a 3D CGI style. The classic. They don't do cartoons anymore, really.
Oh, it's like what's that one video game that we talked about on our episode?
That's the thing.
It's like that same type of digital. What's that thing called? The Final Fantasy or something? Not Final Fantasy. It's one of the final things.
Final Destination.
No, it was one of those video games that got turned into a movie. We talked about it on the episode, but the movie was all digital like that.
It was Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. It was a sequel based like 2 years.
You may look like I'm fucking an idiot over here. I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, but
it looks like that.
Back to the main point. Secret Level on Amazon Prime. It's the overview simply says 15 animated standalone short stories based on several video games and franchises. And it looks like episode 1 follows Dungeons and Dragons. I scroll through some more. Unreal Tournament, Warhammer 40,000, Pac-Man,
I always thought it was 4,000.
Mega Man. Like, apparently each episode has a slightly different animation style, and each one is a completely different story from that universe that you normally wouldn't see. And the person at work that told me about it, apparently it is out of this world amazing.
How is this not on our Days of Future Geeks too? I didn't even know about this.
So, because it was last year.
Okay. Well, I don't think it was on that one either.
But no, I'd never even heard of this until now. I think it was one of those things that somehow got under our radar, and I'm really excited to check it out. So,
well, you let me know how it is.
If anyone out there has any input on this, I'd love to hear it and know what I'm in for. And if you're sure, I'll go ahead and jump on the Creature Commandos.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You can take that one.
All right.
I got enough talking I got to do this episode.
All right, here we go. Holy balls.
I can't believe you haven't watched this, John.
John, okay, Creature Commandos is, and I just said they don't do classic cartoons anymore. It's a classic animation style. It is the grittiest cartoon that I have seen since...
I mean, it's up there with Invisible. Yeah. Invisible's like this.
Which I did finally watch the first episode.
Yeah, I've actually seen an episode with Malachi.
Which one, Invisible or Creature Commandos?
Invincible.
Creature Commandos. Like there's,
yeah, which one?
The one where the guy gets his face burned off when that what's his name steps on his face with his radioactive foot.
Okay.
So you watched like towards the end of the season?
That's the next to last episode. Okay. That's a complete side story. That has nothing to do with the main story.
Yeah, I started there.
Cool though.
Yeah. So I was like, okay.
We've talked about it before on here. Creature Commandos, James Gunn. It will come live action. It is his intro to, his reign in DC. And we just got the finale. I think it was, 7, 8 episodes?
Somewhere around there.
And
I don't have to count in my head.
I am not ashamed to say this, that I choked up a little bit at the end of the finale. Like, it was so well, okay, maybe not choked up, but like I was very, very upset at some things.
Don't take my look as in I don't think you should choke. I'm just trying to think what. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was sad.
I made a motion to help him remember.
Emily watched the finale with me.
We will not spoil the finale. I'm not even going to spoil the season. All I'm going to say is go watch it. This show
is balls to the walls crazy.
Better than it should be for, one, a cartoon, 2, anything coming out of DC. And I put this up there with like Peacemaker as far as I have super high hopes for the DC universe now that James Gunn's in charge. I really do. Oh, and the Weasel is still my favorite.
The Weasel reminds me of my cat.
The Weasel reminds me of my ferret. So, I mean,
it is like works. A cat ferret thing. That episode, I won't give anything away, but
so each episode dives into the backstory of each member of the Creature Commandos.
As a TV show should.
Yes, and the episode with the Weasel
is hard. That one.
Yeah, that one was heartbreaking.
That was harder to watch than the finale.
So you did see more.
Yeah, I was like, I did not know that's how his backstory was. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Its backstory, her backstory, we don't know. But.
So as far as emotional goes, it tears your heart out. As far as like gruesome, no, not as much. The other ones are pretty dark, but
check it out. That's what we're saying. Everybody check.
Yeah,
check it out.
I'm looking forward to watch those things, and that was like, okay, I'll continue to watch.
I'm looking forward to a season 2 if we get one, and I'm really looking forward to seeing all these characters live action, especially Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr.
Absolutely agree.
All right, that is all I've got.
That's all you got?
That's all I've got.
Well, I guess it's my turn.
Wait, no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm kidding.
Fuck.
I'm kidding. I'll just drink my drink. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to start with Skeleton Crew finale. I watched this the other night. Apparently this has got really, really bad ratings. Like horrible fucking ratings, like worse than the Acolyte ratings.
Everyone I've talked to that watched it really liked it.
I know, but apparently the ratings are really horrible. I don't care. I ignore that shit. It is a good show as far as kids go. I thought the finale was a little lacking, but it did happen. I would look forward to a season 2 of this. I don't think they're going to make one,
John,
but I recommend you seeing it.
I've seen the first 2 episodes.
Okay, I haven't watched any of it yet.
What do you do with your entire life that you don't ever finish?
We've talked about this on previous episodes he was on. He watches reruns of the same stuff he's already watched.
Stop watching American Dad.
No, I
watch something new.
I'm watching animes.
Sorry, stop watching Rick and Morty.
No, you're watching animes. Okay,
yes.
He says he's watching new animes.
Sword Art Online.
Nope, not that.
No.
You're all caught up?
Yep.
All right. Are they making another season of that?
They are actually another movie and season, I guess.
I'm going to watch like a YouTube video about that so I can find out what's going on. So we all know I don't play video games very often.
No.
I've been holding out for the new Grand Theft Auto, but that's going to be like sometime at the end of this year when they get everybody's money. But I did for my birthday, which we're recording next one right before my birthday. I decided to buy myself Baldur's Gate 3, not the physical copy, and Hogwarts Legacy. Started them both. Man, that Baldur's Gate is a beautiful looking game.
That's on PS5, right?
PS5. That's what I'm playing it on. I heard that later on this year they're going to cross-platform it.
Yep.
So that you and I can play together.
I'm ready to go.
John doesn't have time, so he won't play with us.
Jeez. He'll be playing Dynasty Warriors while watching reruns of Sword Art.
Hogwarts is still fun as well. I haven't played that one as much, but it looks good. It looks good. We love you, John, or you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be here. Or maybe we're just bored and we need to spice it up. I don't know. Your wife was busy. Scream 7. Anybody fans of the Scream franchise around here?
Nah.
No,
really.
no, you
After
guys.
the first one, I stopped watching.
Yeah, well.
After the trailer, I
Who
stopped
asked you
watching.
anyway? Well, Scream 7 is coming out later on this year, supposedly. I think they're filming it right now. Casting, they're getting some new people. Jasmine Savoy is going to come back, and so is Joe McHale, who is going to play Sidney Prescott's husband, but McDreamy is not supposed to be in the movie at all. So I don't know if they're going to explain, like, maybe he died, and she got with the animal control guy instead. I don't know.
I was just going to ask. Joel McHale from Animal Control and Community. I didn't know he was in it.
Joel McHale's a hilarious dude. You know, he's like 6'4", 6'5". That dude's like big, man. He was great in The Bear. He's so good in The Bear.
I didn't know he was in The Bear.
He's one of the guys that is the reason the main chef is the way he is.
I only got halfway through the first season of The Bear.
Really?
We just kind of stopped watching because we were watching together and we didn't have time to watch together. But no, I first saw him in Community.
Yeah, he's
and so
I used to watch
because of that, I figured I'll give Animal Control a shot, and that show's hilarious.
He used to have like remember that Tosh 2.0?
Yeah,
Joe McHale used to have a show just like that.
McHale
Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know what it's called, but yeah. And then he was in this really good horror movie too about like Catholic people.
He wasn't that ridiculousness, was he?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was just like funny clips and making fun of people. Mortal Kombat players. Mortal Kombat 1. You were getting Conan NT1000 in your game. So that's pretty
Nice.
cool. I used to play more. In fact, I played Mortal Kombat like 6 years ago. One of the newer ones. I think it was X I had. I played it with some people and then I don't know. I just stopped playing. But anyway, yeah, so that's some cool. They're always bringing new characters into Mortal Kombat, so that's pretty kick-ass. And finally, some more. This is more goddamn game news than I ever talk about. The Nintendo Switch 2 yesterday just dropped images of it, and Mario Kart 8 or 9 or something. They showed some videos of that, and it looked pretty cool. So I know if you're listening out there, Zach, maybe, possibly, I know you're a huge Mario Kart guy, so that's got to excite you a little bit, right? Hopefully a lot of other people out there play it as well. I mean, Nintendo's a force. It is a pure force in gaming. So new things on the horizon.
Absolutely. Real quick, I did forget to mention.
How about, not real quick, how about at a moderate pace?
No.
Tortoise speed.
Trust me, this one's a pretty quick one. You remember Werewolves with Frank Grillo we were talking about?
Yes.
It just came out not too long ago.
Yes.
Yeah, apparently it's bombing. It's currently rated at 4.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
People are not going to go to the theater to see that.
It is not doing well.
I'm still going to watch it. I don't care.
And that Wolfman with Julia Gardner.
Yeah.
Gardner.
It's the chick that's going to play the Silver Surfer. She was in the prequel to Rosemary's Baby. I watched the other one.
And she was in Ozark. Yeah.
Yes.
Apparently that's pulling like, I think it was a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, something like that. So it's doing a little bit better, but apparently it's not the season of the wolf.
Huh.
No.
Even though we just had a Wolf Moon last week.
Yeah. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah. Werewolves have historically bombed at the box office. They just have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, vampires rule the box office and werewolves do not. Nosferatu fucking murdered.
Yeah, but the Underworlds did really well.
They did okay. The first one or two did okay.
The first two Underworlds did well.
Yeah, and then the rest of them.
Yeah, because they were mostly.
They're good movies. They just eventually people are like, okay, we get it. I just watched Blade yesterday. I mean, I'm on 1998. I finished up 1997, did my top 10, so I started 1998. Saw Blade for the first time in years, man. Man, that's still a good movie. God, that movie so kicks ass.
I like Blade. Was it Trinity with Ryan Reynolds? Oh, that's a bombshell.
I like 3. Dominic Purcell's Dracula.
It could have been better, but when I think of Blade, I always think
Triple H in it.
I always think of the end of the first one, that giant like ritual massacre, and it's just.
What do you call it? Call that lady a camel humping thunder cunt or something like that?
Well, isn't that the movie that has the blood sprinklers in the club?
Yeah,
that's one.
That's one. Okay,
that's one. It's number one. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it.
I had the soundtrack on CD, and my buddy did too, and we just wore that fucker out in our Discman.
Yeah, as Wesley Snipes post Demolition Man.
I actually enjoy the soundtrack of that movie.
It's a great soundtrack. Yeah. Wolfpack. That's a great song, man.
Yes. Are you guys ready to get into this?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
We're here to
Okay.
talk
He's
about
got 5
Blade.
other things to talk about, Joes.
There's only been one motherfucking Blade.
And one last thing before we dive into the meat and potatoes of this episode, an amazing announcement to make. The Tree of Geek Podcast is now partnered up with the MakerStation LLC. They are a laser engraving CNC 3D printing company, and we now have, currently only in black, Tree of Geek tumblers.
But you could specially ask or order a different one, I would suppose. I'm
Yes.
sure that they have the capabilities.
Yeah, in stock they have black available, but they flat out said, if you want a different color, just give us a heads up and they can special order it. John, you're holding one right now because that is also a new incentive that when you sign up for our Patreon for $5 a month, not only do you get all the fun stuff that we always talk about, but you will now get
A free gift.
a free gift. You will get a Tree of Geek tumbler. Yes, the bottom does say do not microwave or dishwash.
Yes, so for only $5
Obviously.
a month.
It's metal. Why would you microwave that? But anyways,
Listen, dumb people are about.
But anyway, yeah, $5 a month.
It's in
You
the
get
water.
all the stuff that we've talked about before. Plus, you now get a physical free gift, a nice Yeti looking, not Yeti brand, tumbler with the Tree of Geek logo engraved into it.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I've carried mine since the holidays, since you got me one for the holidays, and I've taken it to work almost every day with my coffee. It has not. A lot of these lids that you get are junk. We have a couple
Yeah.
upstairs. Like I got one from Bushkill Falls. It's already broken and fucking.
Like the seal and stuff.
Yeah, like these ones here, and I got Emily one that apparently is the same type of tumbler, and she has the same top, the lid on top,
Yeah.
and they don't leak. It doesn't fall apart. It's very tight. It's very easy to clean. I like it, and it's durable. The fact that it's metal, it's very durable. Keeps my coffee nice and cool with all my ice in it.
Good deal. So I will be putting in the description as well as heck. I'll put it on the screen right now. MakerStation.
Like right now.
Right now, yeah. MakerStationCNC.etsy.com. Again, it'll be on the screen in case you didn't catch that. You can go buy one for only $30, or you can join our Patreon for $5 a month, and you will get one mailed to you pretty directly. So,
For free.
Well-
No, I mean, it's kind of, it's not free. Remember that Riddler guy on TV? For free.
yeah. But that's all. That's all I've got. We'll plug this again at the end, probably just because, I mean, I think it's so cool that we actually have something with our logo on it now that I didn't, try and print on paper and like glue or something, but yeah.
Well, we might as well just say real quick, I'll give him another shout out. For the holidays, John and his wife got really cool binders for Dungeons and Dragons with some really cool designs on them that you guys get to write notes. You're welcome.
Was that the samurai and the unicorn you showed?
Yeah, dude. I love Natalie's unicorn, dude. It's sick. But speaking of unicorns and magical beings, let's talk about our favorite magical sorcerers, wizards, witches, enchantresses, whatever have you. Let's talk about them. What are our top 5 favorite? But before that, I have to ask, what is the criteria? My criteria.
The criteria is fantasy.
Yes, no, but I mean, like, what criteria did you go through to whittle down? Because I know there's so many magical users out there.
Well, are we just doing the most powerful in the world?
No, this is talking about a favorite. So that's why I think some of the criteria is personality. What do they have that's magnetizing that draws you to them? Dedication. Are they willing to lay it out on the line to be either evil or good? Their spell crafting abilities. And maybe I know we said this about the powerful, but can they do some shit where you go, wow, that spell was like, holy shit. That was pretty cool. You know what I mean? Is there any other criteria that you had to use to whittle your list down that I didn't list already?
I mean, to me, I was going off more like personality, like if I was going to watch them, like, okay, like in movies, like let's say for instance, like old school I'll put in Fantastic Four. I loved Doctor Doom in that movie, but again, like I've not seen another one on screen that I liked.
Shout out Julian McMahon.
Yep, awesome. Nip Tuck, awesome show.
Charmed.
So personality. Josh, what other any other criteria that you had to follow to cut it down?
So I broke mine into just 3 categories for
Okay.
each one.
And what categories are those?
First, who are they? And by that, I simply mean, when I think of this character, what is the first thing I think of? Like, do
That
I
makes
actually know this character?
What's the first impression?
Why? Yeah, it's,
The lasting impression, rather.
Yeah, do I know this character more than just, oh, he's really cool or she's really cool?
Could you just start spitting shit about
Exactly.
them? Right. Okay.
Second is powers. Of course. I mean, like you said, it's got to look flashy. It's got to be cool. Or
Okay.
even if it's not, like, problem solving, ingenuity, like how do they use their powers to their advantage in situations. So like you said, it has to appeal to me. But then the big one for me was also the morality issue. Where do they stand as far as their personal morals and values? What do they stand for? Why are they doing what they're doing? And now, disclaimer, I'm sure...
So do they have depth to their reasoning?
Right, and I'm sure some of it, we probably have villains on our list too. And that's okay, because not all villains are black and white.
It's that gray area.
Yeah, some of them have a huge gray area that, I mean, like we talked about before, look at, what was it, Die Hard 3. Dude thought he was doing the right thing, avenging his brother, but he was actually, it was a horrible idea. It was just bad. Actually, I think Die Hard 2 would follow
Simon
that
Gruber?
Yeah.
Hans Gruber's brother?
I was thinking Die Hard 2 at the airport where they thought they were doing the right thing.
Fighter.
Yeah, the Naked Fighter. Thank you. Yeah, bring that up again.
Sloan from Deep Space Nine.
But those are my criterium.
Okay. So then we'll go around and we're going to say, we're going to start with John. We're going to go to Josh. We're going to go back to me. We're going to go counterclockwise here because that's how we're sitting for those of us that can't see us. Maybe you'll get some camera work in the future where you got some wheels, might be greased and moving on here. But anyway, John, Josh, me, we're going to talk about who it is. You're going to give me why. And we're going to go on from there, man. Anything else before we dive in?
We are doing this in a pseudo debate style. Like, we're not purposely going to try and argue, but if John spouts out so-and-so, and I think...
If you say Alex Russo from Wizards of Waverly Place is number 5, we're going to question you and say why.
Yeah,
blah,
that's
blah,
true.
Yeah.
But also, like, if you
she
say
almost made
something...
my list.
Yeah, if you say something that I just feel bluntly, like, dude, that... Like, come why? Like,
right.
That is so left field, you know, please, could just justify it. So that might happen. Otherwise, it's just going to be another boring list.
And one last thing. Because I forgot this part.
So many one mores.
Well, no, this is about it, though. I want to just quickly throw out all of the possibilities that at least fell off my list, that you could have some of these, you might not have some of these, but like I just feel like these have to be talked about, whether they're on our list or not, and I'll go through them very quickly. Fort Salem Witches from Otherland. You don't ever seen that show? Check it out. The Sorceress and Skeletor from Masters of the Universe. The Male Witches from the Covenant movie from 2006. The Craft Witches. Rowena from Supernatural. Lamia from Stardust and her coven. Wizards of Waverly Place Wizards. Sabrina Spellman, the Witcher users, the Wheel of Time, Once Upon a Time, the magicians that use magic in the Magicians, American Horror Story. They had a whole entire season called Coven. Magical users from the Mayfair Witches, which I just started, so I didn't get a chance to get really deep into it. The Sorcerer's Apprentice. There was another cool movie that
Nick Cage.
Yeah, both of those are Blake. Witch Sisters from Charmed. Power of 3, right? Willow. The Wizarding World people like Dumbledore and Harry Potter. All the thousands of characters from the comic books. Magic users from the legends like King Arthur, Chronicles of Narnia, Lord of the Rings, A Song of Ice and Fire, Mary Poppins, Samantha Stevens, and of course, I Dream of Jeannie. These are all areas that I'm sure that some of us have drawn from, or they were on your possibles list. But you know, all these people deserve credit because the wonderful thing about fantasy is it's so broad. And there's so many characters. This is so painstakingly hard for me.
Oh yeah.
To cut down to 5.
Yeah.
John, let's get this going. No more a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Who is your number 5?
Okay, so how we were talking about how we were going to like rate these, I have a certain way how I did mine. I picked them by out of personality.
Which is completely different than ours. No, I'm just...
John's like, I'm going to start with number 1.
Yeah, no, not this time. We learned a lesson. So I picked mine out of personality, something like things they did, and basically narrowed it down as to why I picked them and why they got that spot. So number 5, I have Doctor Strange. The reason why is because he's kind of a dick, but he's funny. He has, like, if you read the comics, you've watched the movies, I mean, he's like, pretty cool. The reason why I picked him is for one moment. Yeah, the reason why I picked him for one moment was during Civil War. If you ever read the comic, there's a scene where it looks like he's on the moon, and the Watcher comes up behind him. Watcher says to him,
Uatu?
Yeah.
How do you say that? Uatu?
I want to say Uatu. I was saying Watcher because I didn't want to butcher his name.
Just for clarification, you're talking Civil War, the comic book series.
The comic book. Not the movie.
There will be spoilers this episode.
Spoilers. Stop living under rocks.
So
exactly.
Continue.
So at this point, Watcher walks up to him and says, why are you letting this go on? Like, you can actually end this with just a word. Steven looks at Uatu and is just like, true, but I have to let these like events play out. Otherwise, it's not everything. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. Another reason why I like him is because he's smart. If he gets into a fight, yeah, he's powerful. If for some reason he gets his powers cut off, he's
crafty.
He's crafty, exactly. He can figure his way out. He knows how to, like, he can find a way around it. But
well, could you say he could fight his way out of a wet paper bag?
Probably.
Okay, I'm just saying. What if it's a magical bag?
Oh, then he's boned.
Okay, all right, man.
What if it's a bag of
magical
holding?
rugs and
Bag of holding, and he only has about 7 minutes of oxygen.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. That's tough there. But I mean, he's used to using like magic powers. He has access to like magical artifacts. So I mean, like
Sorcerer Supreme.
Exactly. Now the reason why I picked him for number 5 is like, yeah, he's powerful, and an all-out fight, if someone disrupts his spells, takes away all that, and he's left his physical strength, he's boned. Straight up.
That's the word of the month, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, boned.
Boned.
I'm using it. Everything's gonna be boned this year.
Exactly.
Boned this month.
But
boner.
But I picked him because, like I said, he's a powerful sorcerer. But if it comes down to physicality, he's not going hand to hand with like somebody like Wolverine and Captain America. Like he's
Well, he will, but just once.
yeah, once, very shortly. But that's one of the reasons why I have him number 5. Like if it comes down to straight hand to hand combat.
And this is like one of your top favorite guys. Like this is when you think Sorcerer Supreme or badass wizard, like one of the first things that pops in your head is Doctor Strange, man, right?
Exactly, because
Okay.
like I can watch the Marvel movie like a million times. I love like Benedict Cumberbatch.
I like that first one.
And I was like, I like origin movies, and I'm like, okay, all right. And then after reading like that comic series, I'm like, all right, he's pretty badass.
Decent pick. I don't have an issue with Doctor Strange being on there.
Real quick, absolute favorite origin story of the MCU.
I'm gonna say Doctor Strange.
Michael?
Origin of the MCU?
Actually, no. You know what? I'm gonna change that. MCU Deadpool. It's too damn funny. It's too damn funny.
Well, it wasn't an MCU origin, though.
Give it to him. We'll give it to him. Continue.
Man, I do like the Thor one. That whole thing where he's, Hawkeye's like, man, give me the word here. You got to give me the word here. When he's just going there trying to get his hammer back. I thought that shit was pretty kick-ass.
See, I got to roll with the original, the intro. Yeah, intro. I got to go with the origin of Captain America. Something about that movie.
Jumps on that grenade, man.
That's that part. And when he pulls the pin, drops the flag, picks up and then hops on the Jeep. It's just beautiful.
That is,
he didn't say how you had to do it. He just said you had to get the flag.
When that movie the trailer dropped and I was seeing screenshots, I was like, man, this movie's going to suck balls. This is going to be horrible.
Wrong.
And everything just kind of looked plasticky and rubbery. I was afraid we were going to get another Batman Forever or something, but man, was I wrong.
Yeah.
And Hugo Weaving, such a good Red Skull.
Man,
but
yeah,
absolutely.
All right, moving on, Josh.
Moving on, my
number 5.
Number 5 pick is a man.
A 5 on it.
Who is crusted in gold. I went with Rumpelstiltskin, also known as Mr. Gold, also known as...
Oh, that's a good piece right there, yeah.
Also known as the Dark One from ABC's Once Upon a Time. Have you seen it, John?
Oh, I love him.
Terrible schmelting.
Played by Robert Carlyle. Robert Carlyle is... Him and Jennifer Morrison are the sole reasons I even tuned into that show to begin with. Both of them phenomenal actors and actresses. I had to go with it. I figured, what the heck, why not? And it turned out to be one of the first so many seasons turned out to be some of the best TV I'd seen in a while. The later seasons, we don't have to talk about that at all. So who is Mr. Gold? He is a podunk farmer, coward, pansy, turned into...
hitch in his step.
The Dark One, Rumpelstiltskin, through essentially a magic dagger. Why did I pick him? Because like I said, he is a villain, mostly. But he is a morally gray villain, I feel, because, well, first off, let's jump into it. What are his powers? Why do I even think that he's worth the magical mention? John, can you give me, like, one of his powers?
Hell, I mean, he can create just about anything.
That's right.
I'm going to say he spins straw into gold.
He can do anything. No, so he can...
Isn't that his main power, spinning straw into gold?
Well,
I mean, in the giant book that my grandmother used to read to me when I was on her knee,
yeah,
that was the thing.
So he can alter reality to his will. Like he transforms straw into gold. He can change people into, he basically polymorphs.
Is it
people,
actual magic that he uses to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It is considered actual magic in the show. He's an expert of the dark arts, especially curses and things like that. He can alter his own appearance. So essentially, using a disguise or polymorphing himself. I know. He can teleport.
We love you, Robert. Sorry.
Teleport basically anywhere, anytime. We've seen him literally just like be in front of you and then appear behind you. And we've even seen him summon or control the dead. But he's all around, like, he's overpowered for the show in general. He's essentially the, I guess you would say, like, the go-to. If something needs fixed in the show, we'll just use him. He can do it.
Yeah, but they showed in the show how that doesn't always work.
Right. Well,
things circumvent around him.
And that's where a lot of his morality comes into play, in my opinion. Because first off, we discover whoever holds the dagger that has his name, laser engraved onto it, they can control him. So his actions aren't always his own. So you can't fault him for anything he does in that circumstance. However, he's
done some dirty shit on his own.
Dick. But you also got to look at the fact that he did 99% of it for the love of his son and the love of
Is it Balefire?
Balefire, yeah. And for
it's all
Belle,
coming
his daughter.
back to me now.
Now, the problem is, like I said, he's a coward. He didn't jump through the portal with Balefire because he didn't want to lose his powers, because he didn't want to be weak again. And then he screwed up that relationship, something awful. But I view him as a morally gray character. He is a classic tug of war of good and evil. Yes, he's done some really shitty things. But there's also been plenty of times in the... because they've done books and comic books on it as well, which I went through a little bit of them. There have been plenty of times where you can tell that he's been pulled on which way he needs to go in certain circumstances. And that right there tells me that he's not fully dick. He's only partial dick.
Depends on how much he rolls out.
So you say he's like about half in?
Rolls back.
Is it curved?
No, it's probably... I'm assuming uncircumcised.
It's slightly curved just to the left.
Because he's gold. Do you think his...
Mine goes to the right, but whatever, man.
Do you think his dick is golden?
Solid gold.
Like a corn on the cob?
My Vinky was a key this entire time.
It'd be soft though, and gold soft, and like the softest metal.
So that's my pick. I hope you guys agree out there.
No, he was on a possibles list of mine. He was.
I was actually thinking about it too. I was like,
So my top three, I was like, yep, know what they are. Number 4 and 5 was extremely difficult to cut my list down on. So 5, I'm not gonna lie, he was very close to not making it.
He was on the cusp.
But he did make it in the end. So what about yourself?
What about me? Me, myself, and I? Let's jump to number 5. Moiraine Damodred from the Wheel of Time. Why did I pick Moiraine? Played by the lovely Rosamund Pike. She might not be the mightiest of the Aes Sedai in the order, but what she lacks in that aspect, and not that she's weak, but she makes up for it with moxie. She's grounded for the most part and sees past the politics of the tower, understanding how to interact with those with no power or money. She comes from the riches, but put that aside to train and help the world. Like her parents are like politicians. They're a very high standing. She shows up to the tower in book 0 with this fanciness and has to, get rid of all that. She has to kind of be brought back down a little bit and be humbled at times. So, the fact that she had to put that aside and go, you know what, that stuff doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. Power doesn't matter. Fame doesn't matter. What matters is me helping the wheel continue to turn and stop whatever evil forces might be coming. That's what matters. She doesn't draft dodge. Okay. She jumps into it. She's willing to sacrifice herself for the Dark One, all the while she treats others with respect and doesn't use them as bait or fodder. A lot of times you'll see powerful characters. Like I said, I just watched Blade. The one girl, the doctor that gets bitten, he uses her as bait. She's like, use me as bait, and he's like, get over it. Moiraine isn't that type of person. I said, first off, you don't know in the Wheel of Time, they don't lie. They may bend their words, and they talk about in the first book how she needs to learn to bend her words a lot, but they will tell you the truth, whether it's something you want to hear or not. They will tell you the truth. They don't lie to your face. So when she says, hey, here's the deal, what's going on with you, she's not bullshitting you. You can ask her more questions to get around it, but, they're very truthful type people, even the Red Aja, which are kind of, assholes. But she's smart, she's funny, she's caring, and she looks to see the best in the people despite who they're supposed to be. So in this world, if you don't know, there's two sides of the power. There's the male side and the female side. She, is part of the female side, obviously, but anybody that is a male who touches the one power eventually goes insane. And there's a main character who I won't say who it is, who I haven't watched the TV show or read any of the books, but this person gets the one power And they're like, oh, am I going to go crazy? And instead of like her other people in the Order of the Other Aes Sedai who would just gentle you and lock you up before you go insane, she's like, no, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you through this. I'm not just going to, you just because you're supposed to go crazy and we're supposed to lock you up. Fuck that. I'm going to help you out here. So that's a good moral compass that she has.
Yeah, absolutely.
She has the ability to weave spells using the female side of the Source, like I said, called the Sadir, to control the weather. She changes her size. She can heal others, or there's a scene where they're running and they're on horses. Their horses are getting tired. She touches the horse and gives it a little bit more juice, a little bit more energy, so it runs faster, runs longer. She does this for the other people, kind of giving them like a couple 5-hour energies. It kind of drains her a little bit, but she can get people to push more. She can heal simple wounds. There's, like I said, about the changing size. She goes to leave the kingdom in the first book, and she kind of like grows tall enough. They don't show it in the TV show, but she grows tall enough to where she just steps over the gates of the town they're in. And the one person's like, "Oh, you were like a giant." She goes, "Was I? I don't recall." Just kind of like pushes it off like it's nothing. She's not fly. She's like, yes, I'm a magical sorcerer and I'm awesome.
She does what she needs to get the job done.
Yeah, and even when she lost her powers for a minute, like she still found the determination and strength inside of herself to keep pushing on and helping others. She didn't just cower and fold up and say, well, I guess I'm done. I don't have any power for a minute. No, she kept pushing on, which is really, I think, kick-ass. Rosamund Pike is a fantastic choice, I thought, to project elegant and controlled ferocity. And that's why I chose her. I think she's just an overall character that's amazing. And like I said, I just finished book 0 in book 1. So I just started book 2 the other day. You got a new season of Wheel of Time coming out. So I'm really looking forward to see where they take this character. I'm very excited. So that's my number 5. John, how about you? What do you guys? Well, first off, you guys got any questions or anything? Or
so there's an actual wheel that they have to keep turning?
It's.
I'll be blunt.
It's like
I know
time.
Nothing about the Wheel of Time series, except that swordsman guy almost won our
Land. Dude, Land's a badass, dude. I'm telling you, Land Mandragorn. He's the Wheel of Time. What they say when they say the wheel weaves is time cycles through. It always kind of repeats itself, and you can kind of remember that from like Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Time's always there's the first age, third age, as so forth. Even in Middle Earth, John, they're in the middle age, or isn't it the third age that what they're in? Like time kind of repeats itself. So some of the people, like the bad people, are trying to break the wheel. They're trying to break time. They're trying to break the age. They're trying to send it all into darkness. And it's their job. It's kind of metaphorical in a way. Like there's no actual wooden wheel where you can go spin it that I'm aware of. I didn't read the whole entire series yet, but it's kind of metaphorical. But if the bad people getting charged, then they could fuck time up itself, I think. That's my guess.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Yeah. John, number 4, which is the greatest number, right, Josh?
It is.
4.
It is.
Yeah, number 4 is great.
Unless you're Chinese. Chinese people don't like 4. Apparently it has something to do with death. I don't know.
And I don't see the problem.
So my number 4 pick, it's something well outside of my normal range. This is going to be the Spectre from DC.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you continue.
So the reason why I said like number 4 is because I was thinking
my buddy used to call him the Spectre. Continue.
Listen, I just want to make sure I'm not pronouncing the name.
It is Spectre. It is Spectre.
So I was looking at this because personality wise, he's basically a god. He's indifferent to a lot of things. He just has he doesn't really have a lot of presence, but he just fuels that whatever his vessel at that time has. So one of the things I liked about him was basically once he does actually get a vessel, he does have almost unlimited access to power and has defeated nearly about every magic user within the DC universe. So basically, I mean, he basically kickstarted a whole new era of magic. I thought that was pretty powerful in that way. The drawback is, I mean, he's really limited to having a human vessel. So one of the badass moments I liked about this is he once killed the DC's wizard during a time when.
Which wizard?
I can't remember the name.
Like the Shazam wizard or somebody else?
I just remember it saying can't remember the name.
So he killed a powerful wizard.
Yeah,
okay.
He killed a powerful wizard during a time where he was even hostless. So basically, this is he didn't have a human form he was bound to. I mean, he off this guy easy.
Where does the origin of his power come from?
See, that's where I'm not entirely too sure because, like,
I am.
well, I'm glad you are. Like, this is coming from like I was looking at people who I actually.
Did you look them up in that really cool DC encyclopedia that you have at home?
No, believe it or not, I originally first found out about him from DC Online, like the video game you could play like online with like everybody. I'm like, okay, well, he possessed like Hal Jordan. I was like, oh shit, like, and I had no clue that he was even a ghost of this like entity. I was like, all right, so seeing how much damage he could do just by possessing somebody, I'm like, okay, that's cool.
And this is like when somebody say, hey, quick, give me like a couple of your top guys, this is like you would instantly think of the Spectre?
Yeah, because like I'm thinking if like with the right vessel, he could take on like the strongest people.
What is one of his hosts' name? Like, you say he has to have like a body. Like, what's one of the guys that he named?
So, like I said, like I remember he had like Hal Jordan. He was possessed. Like he possessed him. There was one time like I saw him possessing Green Arrow. So like seeing him like fire off like these freaking magical arrows, just like out of like with no.
So he just snags up just regular old like just any hero, but he doesn't have like a normal person he walks around with.
Nope.
Like a
It
John
says
Harrigan
here
or
the most common one is Jim Corrigan.
I said John Harrigan. I was close.
See, I
I was close, man. You got to give me credit for that.
But it also says here
Jim
that
Corrigan.
one of the
Damn.
prerequisites for the Spectre to essentially possess you is you have to be dead.
Yeah, well, Spectre is like a ghost.
So Hal
spirit
Jordan
ghost,
and
so.
Green Arrow died at some point, and the Spectre took him over.
So and like from the game I was playing, like I didn't know that they were dead. It just showed them being possessed by him. So again,
Is this like a cutscene?
basically, yeah, because like on the DC game I was playing, it's just like you walk into this museum and you're fighting like these specters, and you find out, oh shit, like it's like green, it's like not Green Arrow, but like the Green Lantern that's possessed by the Spectre.
Interesting. I do know that it says that the Spectre gains his power, like he was given power by the presence. And if we don't know who the presence is, it's the same as the word. So when you think of Marvel, the one above all, the Stan Lee, the creator, the presence is DC's version of that, which is that they're on the same power level or, as like the Sandman and all those beings. I always thought the Spectre was like Swamp Thing, Sandman, kind of like a deity. You had sent me earlier today, Josh, in the Tree of Geek Extended about the question of like kind of divinity versus magic when it came to like supernatural and things like that. I mean, this is who you picked and that's your choice. I don't know if I would pick somebody only because I feel like he's so connected to the divine. He is a magical being. I mean, you cannot deny that. But it's an interesting pick. He is uber powerful. I know Marvel versus DC at the end with the two brothers, that Spectre, I do believe, is one of the ones that connects on the DC side. Who's on the Marvel side that connects to? Shit. Probably have it sitting on the shelf behind you. But he's one of the beings that's like mainly part of the whole cosmic thing of it. I always thought he was cosmic. He was divine. He was more of like a force.
Yeah.
More than a magical user. But I mean, that's your pick. So, but that's my thoughts on it.
I mean, because I liked it because, like, again, because he's able to manipulate matter and reality, bend time and space. I mean, he's got all those.
Yeah, that's a cosmic.
Yeah.
Those are all cosmic abilities.
But
have you ever like picked up a comic book with Spectre or went and sought stories of him out? Like read anything
I've
online?
tried to find some, but like again, like I've only read from what I've seen on TV shows, through games, through lengthy encyclopedias. I have like very little knowledge, but again, like looking at like Titana and stuff like that, I'm like, he's the only one I actually like in the DC. Like Etrigan was going to be.
Dude, Etrigan's dope, dude.
He was going to be my number. Like he and these two were fighting for that spot.
I got to bring him up at some point. Or no, I won't bring him up.
But again, it came down to possession. I'm like, all right, well.
Well, that's an interesting pick, John. It is what it is. I'm not sure if I 100% agree, but we're here to discuss it. Josh, what do you got at number 4? Is it something else I'm going to say?
I have the Spectre. No. So for number 4, I went an entirely different genre, kind of. I mean, it's still fantasy, but it's not comic book at all, though it is based off of a trilogy. Looking at the Magician's trilogy.
Lev Grossman?
Yes, which I've read and I've watched the series.
Who he is?
It is one of the very, very few, I'd say, franchises that I like the TV series more than the book.
Yeah, you have mentioned that in the past, yeah.
The books, they don't flow the same way at all. I don't really know how to explain it.
Yeah, they got good reviews, though.
I mean, they're fantastic. It's just I went into it with the mentality of it's going to be, the show on paper. And
Quick
I
question.
definitely shouldn't have done
Before
that.
you say who from the magicians you chose, we talk about Silo being like a perfect copy from the books.
Yeah.
Into a new medium.
Pretty close, yeah.
Would you have been happy had they taken the magicians and been so dead on, like, so here's the path and we're barely going to stray off
if
of
they'd
it?
have been more meticulous with the book to TV.
Would you have enjoyed it as much?
No, I don't think so, actually. I absolutely love the show. I think they did a phenomenal job, and I like that it's different.
Okay.
But like I said, it's one of the very few that I will say I think the show is better than the books.
Well, I never read the books, and I fucking love the show.
So at one point on my maybe list, I had like practically every character on the show.
So did I. Yeah, of course.
Like literally almost every character, even the Dean. I mean,
Fog? Hell yeah.
Like,
John, you did watch 2 episodes? You said you didn't really get into it, right?
I finished the first season.
Oh, you did watch all of season 1.
Oh,
you didn't watch. What is there? 5 seasons? 4?
Yeah, I think there's 5.
I think it's 5. Yeah.
You never continued on. Why did you not continue?
You never
on?
got to Under Pressure.
Under Pressure.
Every season has a song.
Take on me.
You knock that off. That will bring me to tears. Every season has a song episode, a musical episode, and I swear to you, it is one of the only shows that I look forward to that episode. I don't skip it. They're so good.
I was going through a lot of filmography of those people, and Quentin Coldwater, he does a lot of Broadway stuff. Or off Broadway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that actor.
I know the girl that played, was it Katie?
Yeah, Katie. She's done some musicals. She's barely done anything. I think she was the one that was saying Mayans MC. I think it's.
Oh, okay.
She was actually in an episode.
Well, she's a big stage person, not so much TV.
Why didn't you continue to season 2?
So,
I had to
Margot
watch.
didn't even hit her stride yet.
I had to watch my reruns.
See, like after the one female, like the blonde, I can't remember her name.
Alice.
Whenever she just up and like vanished, I was like,
when she leaves the show temporarily.
Yeah, I was just like, oh shit, like she was like one of my favorite. I'm like, okay, and then
she comes back.
I bet she was.
Anyway, yeah.
I can't explain it without giving a lot of stuff away. The character returns. We'll put it that way. You should totally.
You'll get to it someday, and you'll be glad that you did.
You should absolutely rewatch it.
I think season 2 is a massive improvement over season 1. Well, I understand that, Remby wasn't your cup of tea, or maybe you might continue it someday. But with that being said, Josh, who is your pick at number 4 after I sort of hijacked your stuff there?
That's fine. I picked one of the main characters that's not a main character.
Josh Oberman.
I kid you not. I considered him.
Who's the one that was a ghost, dude?
Penny?
No. He was stuck in the house, like nobody could see him from it.
Oh, the perv.
Anyway, all right, I'll shut the fuck up.
John, you would know what we were talking about if you finish it. No, I picked Martin Chatwin, also known as the Beast.
Dude's got some juice, bro.
John, to fill you in, since you watched it once, I watched, I think.
Remember the moths everywhere?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a dude behind that.
So.
Oh.
Okay, so who is he?
Spoilers, John.
Yeah, this is major spoilers. Because you find out, I think, the end of season 1, but then you find a lot more out later.
Some messed up stuff.
Some very messed up stuff. So who is he in both the books and TV show? The Beast is revealed to be Martin Chatwin. He's one of the Chatwin kids, the siblings, that made their way to Fillory through the clock. And in case you didn't figure it out, it's essentially a spin-off parallel to The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
It's the Chronicles of Narnia.
But it's a much darker, more realistic version of what could happen in a magical land.
And I'll say that once they explain it, you'll never watch The Nanny the same way again.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So he's often depicted, like we said, with like the moths swarming his head to conceal his identity. And it's the youngest child, I think it is.
I think it is the youngest of the 3.
And the reason he became the Beast is because he had a desire to stay in Fillory. Because, like they said, you have to leave every so often. Well, no, that's in later seasons. You can't stay there forever. They do kind of push you out. Like, you have to leave. You can come back sometimes.
Your time is over.
Sometimes they'll cut it so you can't come back. Like, they'll, Well, he didn't want to go back because
Because normal Earth sucks.
It does. And
you got taxes, man.
So he turned to what they called some of the dark forbidden magic to make it that he could remain, that he could, basically control what's going on. And in the end, he essentially became like Sauron of Fillory. Like he became the Dark Overlord. Nobody could match him, especially any human wizard practitioner or whatever you want to call it. Like nobody could match this.
Without spoiling it, the reason all these seasons happen is because of him.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
When you find out why and what the method, oh my God.
I'll get to that in the morality portion. Yeah, because like I said, I have a few villains. They're not all black and white, you know. So look at his powers. Okay, it's a show about magicians. Of course, he's going to have magic. No, okay, so Martin Chatwin is an absurdly complex character. Let's start with that, okay? He can cast pretty much any spell with, like, little to no effort at all. A great example is, you saw when they tried to confront him in the library, I think it was, or the office or whatever.
Yeah, in the library, yeah.
And you saw what happened to Penny.
Yeah.
All he did was this, and for those listening, he literally just swiped his finger across.
Swipe left.
And, you know, it's been out
right.
for a long time, spoilers. He just, bam, slices both of Penny's hands right off at the wrists. Like, nothing. Now, you notice throughout the season...
He's had, like, 40-some-odd years to train.
But you notice throughout the whole season and the later seasons, it sometimes takes them, like, 30 seconds to conjure the simplest spell.
Exactly, yeah.
For him to be able to just cast something like that, and they even say, like,
innately.
Offensive magic is extremely difficult, and he just does it like it's nothing. I mean, we saw flat out he can move between realms, between worlds, Earth and Fillory.
I would say that before somebody could even say, what's the curse in Harry Potter where they kill you? Hadavra.
Avada Kedavra.
Before you could even say your head would be gone.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You just go, whoop, there goes your face.
I considered Voldemort, and then I'm like, no, because honestly, compared to some of these, he doesn't really hold a candle.
Exactly.
He's kind of a pansy. I mean, he doesn't have a nose. But yeah, his big cry to fame was, "Oh, I broke my soul." Well, I'm pretty sure Martin could have many Horcruxes if he wanted. So yeah, like I said, he can go not only teleport at will, but he can literally go between realms, between worlds that everybody else
you gotta go. You have to find a
way.
way to go through. Yeah,
right.
Penny's like the people that are strong enough is like Penny and those who train him are the only kind of people in the magician's universe that can go from realm to realm.
Yeah.
Everybody else has to like go through a clock tower or something else.
Yeah. And like you were saying earlier, one of the episodes where one of the main characters does take their leave for a little bit. They do come back, like I said. They're trying to conjure up an absurdly complex and powerful spell to try and... I don't even think they were trying to kill him with the spell. I think they were just trying to banish him like from that realm of existence in general. And it failed. And I mean, he can take a beating and basically look like you flicked him with a penny. I mean, he's...
I don't want to step on your toes here, but just so everybody understands, the deities that created Fillory were afraid of this guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like they wouldn't come out of hiding because of him.
They went and hid under a rock and were like, we're not fucking with this dude.
Well, one under a rock, one in the real world. But that's a whole nother season.
Yeah.
What else can he do? Not only does he know an absurd amount of the dark and forbidden magic that most people have no means to learn, let alone, perfect, but he basically created a lot of it. Like, he is the embodiment of evil when it comes to this show. In the TV adaptation, he's shown to be able to shapeshift. They didn't do that in the books. However, in the books, he actually had a limited amount of control over time itself. So he could manipulate time in order to avoid the consequences of an action. Like, he could do something and then just bail.
I could have swore he did that. He slowed down time in the
did he?
show.
I don't remember.
I remember him slowing down.
Oh, darn it.
time.
I guess we'll have to rewatch it. All right, John, you ready to hear why he is this all-powerful, absurdly messed up creature?
I feel before, are you going to give away like all of this person to somebody who doesn't know?
No.
Listen, they had all this time to watch this
No.
forever. They can.
Okay, listen.
Spoiler.
I've said this before about other series that we've dove into. There are certain things you have to experience for yourself. You have to watch it and you have to learn things for yourself because the impact it has on you will impact how you view the rest of the show. I firmly believe that.
A couple of times I watched it, I was like, what?
So we know that these stories that like drove Quentin Coldwater to magic in general.
Call him Q.
Yeah, Q. We know the stories that drove Q to Fillory to the school in general were written by an author who supposedly wrote them about real world experiences. And we find out later he was the neighbor, I think it was, that the Chatwins went to visit, and they discovered this realm through him, and then he wrote them based on the stories they told him. Things were happening that involved him that, how would you go about saying it, do you think? Damaged the psyche of Martin. to the point that Martin wanted to remain in Fillory. He didn't want to come back to the real world. He didn't want to come back and pay taxes. He stayed away. And in the end, it really, I don't see it as black and white. I see it as he is the victim of a mental break, a tragedy in his own right that unfortunately had a massive domino effect. And yeah, he made my list because even though he is a horrible creature, horrible human being thing, I mean, his story alone.
You tiptoed a lot around.
Oh, his story is
the
very
specific.
It's very deep
occurrences of why he was formed to what he was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not gonna.
And I'm going to be real clear and honest with you. With the public listening here, I've went through some very horrible things in my childhood that are extremely similar to this character. In fact, the same fucking shit as this character. And I grew up reading Narnia. Had I been in this kid's shoes, experienced what I experienced, there's a fair chance I would have turned into him.
To learn magic, to learn self-defense.
Yeah. The thing is, when you're a child and you're vulnerable and nobody's listening and the world is against you and you find an escape, you cling to that escape. So I can understand personally what Martin Chatwin was feeling. Now, did he go a little bit farther as he got older? Maybe. But from a child's perspective, I completely understand it. And I'm not going to say on air what those things were this person went through, but just watch the TV show, you'll understand, and it is absolutely horrific. It's one of the few villains I actually completely wasn't like, oh, could I put myself in his shoes? No, I do fully 100% understand.
So you understand why I say it's definitely a gray area.
Completely.
Yeah, he definitely took it too far, but you also understand the mentality of why he went down the path he went down.
Yeah, for sure.
That is my number 4 pick. Again, Martin Chatwin, a.k.a. the Beast from The Magicians.
Well, I don't think I can follow up that deep, but that is a great pick. John, did you like that pick? You agree with that pick?
Yeah, a little dark, but all right.
John,
do you think that might draw you into watching more Magicians?
I mean, I didn't stop watching because I didn't like it. It's just I got sidetracked.
Total transparency. We told John a few things off the mic that we're not going to say on the mic for the sake of, we want you to watch it. John, do you think that do you want to watch it now? Like, did we kind of?
Or will you? Not that you said you didn't say you didn't want to watch it, but do you think you could carve out an hour a month?
Probably an hour.
He's got a busy schedule.
I mean,
an hour.
I mean, I got Netflix back. So
1 hour a month, 5 seasons, 20 episodes.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah.
It was. I don't know if it still is.
I think it still is. It pops up on my
Oh, dude, check it out then.
All right, yeah. All right, so that is again my pick my number 4 pick. Michael, you're up.
Now, as I said, I don't know if I can go that deep, but we're gonna try to at least bring another ambiguously, possibly good, not that great, maybe they're bad kind of character. We're gonna move on over to Storybrooke again. That's where we're gonna travel back, and we're gonna talk about Regina Mills. Regina Mills, and I gotta say, from the first episode, I was like, I like this chick. She was instantly one of my favorites. She just was.
Totally misunderstood.
Completely misunderstood. So why did I choose her? Well, let's talk. You want to talk about character development here, okay?
Absolutely.
The evil queen starts off on a path of revenge and power seeking, only to find love and compassion at the end. And to be clear, I didn't finish the final season, but I did read about what happened. There's like final season and a half.
It's like a
different universe.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
But I wanted to know. She does have a decent ending. In a fairy tale soap opera mix, Regina is the queen of all backstabbers, okay, and a top tier magic user. While she speaks, you listen. How many times in the show has somebody been blah, 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 and Regina's like, listen, and they do. They always shut up and they listen to Regina. She's got a gravitas to her. She's got like she a regalness. There's a reason that she is eventually, I would guess, elected queen. Not the evil queen, but just the queen of the whole thing. I don't know if that was a Game of Thrones, like, hey, let's do a democracy thing. I like when they said in Game of Thrones, like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
We'll just vote it. Wait, huh? That's not how that works. It's an oligarchy. Wait, no, I didn't say that. We're not talking about politics. Moving on. So, yeah, when she speaks, you listen. But she has drive, she has determination, and an iron will. When it comes to magic, she has everything at her disposal. You talk about Mr. Gold. She learned everything she knew from Mr. Gold and from other people. And she uses teleportation to blood magic. Like, she does it all. She is strong enough to use the dark curse, which, and if people don't know, it was able to transport people from one realm to a completely different realm, and at the same time wipe their memories and change them in a way to serve her. I'm not talking about one person or 15 or 30 people. We're talking like hundreds of people of an entire kingdom. She moved into a place they called Storybrooke. She may have cursed everyone, but in the end, she helped save them all. So let me go off my pages here now that I've read out what I typed down there. So she's on this revenge tour. She wants to destroy everybody. She hates Snow White. She hates Prince Charming. She wants to just have everybody under her thumb. But then something crazy happens. She finds Henry. Henry somehow comes to her, this little baby, and she even, like, and I don't know what word for word here, but the speech that she tells, I think it's Emma Swan, about why she has the drive that she does and what she thinks has changed her and what she actually cares about. When she talks about Henry and that baby giving her purpose, for a lot of people out there who might understand this, that you might feel lost, you might feel you don't understand what's your life, but you have a baby. And that baby kind of gives you purpose. We're all parents here. We understand that we would do anything for our kids. Even though this wasn't her biological child, she can and will destroy anything that gets in her way of having that kid be happy or having any separation between. If you've gotten Henry pissed off at her for some reason, she's going to come at you. Okay, she'll stand up to Mr. Gold. She'll stand up to the Wicked Witch, Cinderella. It doesn't matter. Whatever fantasy, fairy tale character you want to bring up, she will stand up to him and knock him down. She may not do it by brute force. They might find some way to circumvent her, or like, oh, we've negated your power. Well, then she'll just like stab you with a knife or punch you in the face. Like, she'll find a way to some manipulation of like Mr. Gold or some other like magical, or like, well, we're going to get Pinocchio to do something. You know, she'll find a way to twist somebody to her will to get what she wants. And I found that through that whole entire series, the one character that kept coming back to that show was Regina Mills. Yeah, she's not the most powerful. We've shown Emma Swan is the chosen one, and her magic ability is insane. And Mr. Gold, you know, is the dark one. But Regina is the one that had heart to me. She's the one that had the drive. She's the one where I was like, damn, like, I understand where she's coming from here. Like, I get it. When I think about a character that's like my favorite that I instantly think of, it's got to be a character that I've been drawn to, somebody I can put myself in their shoes, somebody that understand what they're going through. Their motives are realistic in a way. It's not just, I want to control the universe and turning into darkness. What are you going to do? Sit on a dark throne in a cave for the rest of your life? Like, no, like she did. She accomplished what she wanted in the beginning. She had a whole new realm with all her people under her thumb, and she was the mayor of it, but she still did things. She didn't just sit there on a throne brooding, you know what I mean? Like, she still had character interactions.
She ran it like a town.
Yeah.
Like,
she's a competent leader for sure. You know, when a lot of people were scrambling to figure out what to do when all these bad things are coming up. And how many times did a hero go to her for help?
Yeah, and you find out, I mean, now, yes.
I know you said that did it for gold, but they went to Regina a lot too.
She was one of the only people who remembered pre-curse. Now, you find out later Mr. Gold did, but that's because, you know, it was his
He's
spell.
a manipulator. Yeah.
He probably put a safeguard in it. But that also just, it goes to show she's a manipulative
wench.
Yeah. Like,
how do you feel about her? Did you like Regina? Because I know you and your wife have seen the entire
show. Did you see the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The last season.
At one point, Natalie and I were actually talking about it. It was weird.
Yeah. The last season I wasn't a big fan of, but she was one of my favorite. Like, besides Gold, I was like, all right.
I kind of tuned out. I kind of tuned out when they started bringing Frozen into it.
I was like, no.
I liked the classic fairy tale feel. I liked all the story. I loved how
I didn't even care about the CGI, man. I still just loved it.
My favorite part about the entire show is that there was an 8th dwarf named Stealthy. Just something about that. But yeah, oh man, it was a good show. I've never seen the last season. And I don't need to. Like,
I got 3 episodes deep of them being detectives and bar owners. She ends up owning a bar or something, and that's as far as I got. I was like, no, I'm good.
Good pass. Nope.
That show From that I was talking about.
Yeah.
The father is the guy that plays Pinocchio. Only has like super long hair. He ends up in the show.
Okay.
For like the first couple seasons that it's been out. Yeah. Let's move back around. John, number 3, if I know how to count.
All right, so my number 3 pick, you're probably not going to be surprised, it's an anime character.
Well, I'll be surprised at who it is because I don't know.
The anime version of Doctor Strange.
This guy's way more brutal.
All right, let's hear it.
So his name is Ainz Algone. He is the main protagonist, well, the main villain of Overlord.
Is the series called Overlord?
It's Overlord. Yep, that's the name of the series.
I think we discussed that briefly before. That's where like a game server's being turned off and the dude stays logged in. And
falls asleep at the keyboard, wakes up.
Yeah, he wakes up and for some reason his character
worse than Tron.
His account wasn't kicked out of the online game. And all the NPCs suddenly they come to life. They have their own personality and he's the only player. So he basically takes over as like the big overlord. But then you find out that there's other people stuck in the game still
Exactly,
too.
Yes. So the reason why I like this guy is personality-wise, he's your average gamer. He was your hardcore gamer who was like had to get all the weapons, had to get all the gear, basically like how I play when I play Elder Scrolls. So basically, one of the things I liked about him is like because he still thinks he's playing that game, he's got that gamer attitude. It's just like, fuck it, I'll kill somebody, don't matter, and he does it brutally. Basically, like just because like just playing in game, I'm like, okay, I can do that. So I identify with that playing the game.
I have to cut in here. Where is the magic going to come into this? The magic, the sorcery.
So he plays
this.
So his main character is a sorcerer. He's basically a lich. He has all types of magical gear. Can do like all types of magical spells.
Well, the game he's stuck in is similar to like World of Warcraft.
Yeah, so he's able to do.
So he's not an actual magic user. His character in the game is a magic user.
Yes.
Okay, continue.
So, but his character in the game is like super OP. Like he's able to do like these.
That's overpowered for the people of my generation.
But he has artifacts, but I mean, he for the most part, he doesn't have to use it because he's so overpowered. He can just literally just one shot.
What do you mean by artifacts?
So he has like stuff like a staff that can do like basically empowers like augments his magical ability, rings that protect him from physical harm.
So extensions of the magic or amplifiers of the magic that his character uses.
Think D&D when you get like that super legendary weapon.
Well, it's even like Doctor Strange with the boots of whatever.
Yeah,
and then
it's one of a kind.
And what's his name in the game?
Bob.
Steve.
The name he has in the game, it's really messed up. I can't even remember. I just know he just goes, but he changes it.
And he's one of your all-time favorites that you think about right away.
Yes.
You don't know his name.
Yep.
Okay, just check it.
But anyway, so like one thing that really took me on was like there's a battle on a field and he's getting ready to take on the strongest knight this kingdom has.
It's only a flesh wound.
He has like all this like top level gear. He has this max level sword, and Ainz just offs him in 1 second. Just like he pauses time, like walks over, man. And he just right through the chest. He's
like Achilles.
Yeah.
Says here his name was Momonga.
Yeah, it's like something weird.
Momonga. Okay.
Yeah.
That's his here. Showing you a picture. That's his character.
Yeah, it's really
So the dude that's at the keyboard looks like Skeletor on steroids?
Basically, yeah. That's the NPC that he reprograms for her not to be a bitch and just like follows.
So this is like the Matrix meets Tron?
Basically.
Sounds like it. Now, I only know a little bit because it was recommended to me once, and it might have been by you, John.
It's very
and I watched a few episodes, but again, I just can't get into anime. But what I saw was
do they speak English
good.
Or do I got to read?
It's dubbed.
English. It's dubbed. So, like, another thing is, like spoiler, because if you guys haven't seen haven't seen it, and anybody else that's seen it's been out for a while now, the princess of the kingdom that they're basically going up against, she basically, like, destroys her entire kingdom just to become a succubus on his side, just kills everybody in the kingdom. I'm like, oh, okay.
Princess Peach got angry.
She got pissed.
Still waiting for the downside.
But anyway, the reason why he only made number 3 is just because, but I mean, he does have drawbacks. He doesn't know, he thinks he's at this point in the show, he thinks he's the only person that's stuck in this world. So other people, hardcore gamers, you're going to have that other PvP player who has better gear than you. So I gave him number 3 because there's going to be a bigger, badder person that's going to come in that's going to challenge him. Obviously, it's going to happen. But I mean, the storyline's awesome. I mean, character development. I mean, there's stuff where I'm like, oh, this guy's not that bad. And you're like, oh shit, he is bad. Like one of his...
Let me ask you this. His character that falls asleep at the keyboard, the Inigo, what was his name?
Momonga.
No, not Momonga's in the game, out of the game.
Inigo Montoya.
No, what was his name? Yeah, that's what I couldn't remember. It started with an I. Ignatius.
Heinz Algo. That's
Heinz.
Yeah,
Heinz 57. So before Heinz 57 falls asleep at the keyboard, that personality of him and as an actual person, do we ever get to see that?
Yeah, there's certain aspects where he just like you see him like doing internal monologues as himself, like as he is like outside.
Does he bring his own? Like, does he role play a lot in this, even though he's stuck in there, or does he bring himself?
It's funny you
mentally
say
into it.
So mentally he does, but he's actually magically forced to try to be this character. So as he tries to just step out of the character line, there's a spell that makes him go into character, like he's forced to. So if he tries to bring out like his normal gaming self, he's not able to do that.
Interesting.
That's why like he's really that's why he's kind of limited in what he can do. He's in this like in this universe, in this reality, but he doesn't have full control, but he is overly powerful.
What number 1 or 3 or 4 reason could you give me of why you like him better than Doctor Strange or your other pick? Who was your other pick?
The Spectre.
The Spectre.
So I like him more because I feel like I can kind of like be in his shoes because I have like my characters I get into when I'm playing my games. If I have to create my character, I'm putting myself into, okay, I would love to be able to do this. And seeing how he built this character from ground up to be that strong.
I think I'm getting some here. So you know how I know how I feel, so I'm not going to speak for Josh here, but I have often wondered I always fantasize about going to a fantasy world, having a sword, facing an evil wizard.
Well, I feel like
John,
that's why we're both writing books.
Yeah. If you have him on chapter 5, woo, I'm doing great. You're on chapter 37 or something. But like John, I feel like you are the same way, except the only slight difference is
not
you
like
feel
vicious.
You sometimes would fantasize about being in a game. You're so easily able to jump into another character when you're gaming, where I could do it in a fantasy sense. You're doing it more in a digital sense. It doesn't matter what the setting is. Like you play Destiny and all these other games. Like you're more of a, like, what if I was in and I say Tron only because it's the only really movie other than Wreck-It Ralph about people being in a video game. But that seems to be you jump into like a digital gaming world, or like Ready Player One, whereas I'm like, I want to go into Narnia. I want to go to Middle Earth. You know what I mean? Is that a fair assessment, you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I think I just learned a new thing about you today. I found a new layer. I peeled it back. Did it feel good?
Like an onion.
Because it feels like it's creamy.
Yep, just like an onion.
Of course, that could be the rot part too. I'm not sure if you ever got a rotten onion. Anyway, Josh, number 3, man, what do you got going on, bro?
You done?
Yep.
If you're done.
Finished.
I knew he was done. He's done.
Number 3, I'm going into my absolute favorite franchise of all times.
Tron.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, I thought we were going to Alien.
No. We are diving in.
You didn't mention Alien yet.
Well, there's no magic in Alien. No. So we're going into my favorite franchise of all time, The Lord of the Rings.
I got to tell you something about Alien after this.
So his sounded like Final Fantasy VII when you win the battle. Yeah, that. So we're going into Lord of the Rings. No, it's not Gandalf. It's not Sauron. It's not Saruman.
Frodo.
It is
Does Samwise have magic?
the most badass.
The Witch King of Agmar?
He's pretty cool. No, so it is the most amazing, mysterious character of the entire franchise. We're looking at Tom Bombadil.
Oh, man. He's like a god, though. He's like a deity, but okay, whatever.
No, see, that's the thing. You don't know what he is. Tolkien has even come out and said that Tom Bombadil was purposely written to be mysterious because he wasn't central to the plot of The Lord of the Rings. Therefore, he didn't feel he needed to elaborate on who, what, or, anything really about Senor Bombadil. So who is Tom Bombadil?
We don't know. It's a damn mystery.
So he is...
Sings a lot.
I have written down that he is the most, in my opinion, cryptic character of the entire franchise. All we really know about him is that he could give 2 shits less about the ring.
Doesn't affect him.
That he's not in the movies, which really annoys me.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Agreed.
Again-
He'll show up in the Gollum. Don't worry about it.
Again, Tolkien stated that
Got
he
3 movies to do it.
was supposed to be a mystery because he's outside the main conflicts of Middle-earth. Therefore, he's not actually relevant to the story. And Gandalf and Elrond in the books, they suggest that he would be unable as well as unwilling to defend the ring simply because he didn't care about it, which means that he would just as soon throw it in a drawer as he would give it to a passerby.
Does Tom Bombadil work for the TVA?
Maybe.
It definitely sounds like
He just opens up, instead of a bunch of infinity stones, there's just a bunch of rings in there.
Where did you get those?
Oh, I just picked this up. It was laying around.
So looking at his power set, he's, like I said, completely immune to the One Ring. And by that, I mean, like, he is above the magic of Middle-earth.
Doesn't he touch it at some point or hold it? And like,
oh,
he doesn't
absolutely.
give a shit?
He holds it. He messes around with it. He puts it on. He does not go invisible. He doesn't feel influenced at all. He just kind of jokes about it and gives it back. He does not care because to him, it's nothing more than a little trinket with zero value. And that right there should tell you that he is so far above, even Sauron, who was, he was part of the, what was it? The Maiar. Maiar, which was
I don't think he was a Maiar.
No, he
wasn't a Maiar.
The Vala.
He was the second ones down under Morgoth.
Yeah,
Morgoth is like Gandalf level, and then he was
which is
under...
which is the Maiar, Gandalf. They're essentially the ones that were like it's in the Silmarillion, which again I never finished. Holy crap, was that?
I got through a couple chapters. It was tough.
The Maiar are essentially like those who were entrusted with the building blocks of creation. Like they are the ones who were like the babysitters of everything.
They sang that song.
They did. And speaking of which, another power he has is his command over nature. And by that, I mean, he controls nature.
It's more of an influence.
Well, see, that's the thing. He controls it by his mere presence.
I don't think he'd want to say under control. He's just that type of character. He wouldn't even use control.
Well, so I have something about that, actually, but we'll get to it. But like you said, like without lifting a finger, nature bends to his will. He doesn't have to say anything. He doesn't have to do anything. It's just it knows what he wants and it does it. His singing, which if you've read the books, he sings constantly, the most random everything.
You know what I love? That in the one book with Narnia, Aslan's running around. Did you ever read the Chronicles of Narnia, John?
No, I have not.
The magician's nephew, when he sees Aslan, which is technically, I guess, the first time you see Aslan, he's running, he's kind of hopping, just walking as a lion does, and he's singing. And as he's singing, shit's being created. And in Lord of the Rings, all these powerful deities are singing, creating the universe. And I thought it was so cool to parallel because C.S. Lewis and Tolkien being part of the Inklings together.
Yeah.
I wonder if they purposely
They probably
did that.
chatted.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's all about, and what is the one thing that humans have uniqueness? I think that would probably be very unique across the universe is our emotions in music. And that's all I'll say.
Hakuna Matata.
I can give you that. So his singing in the books, it brings about joy as well as like it can imbue people with energy. It's almost like casting a spell on them, but without actually doing it. It's an uplifting thing that immediately affects people. I mean, it's not like casting a energy spell on someone. He's also immortal or timeless.
Eternal-ish. Immortals can be killed. Well, we don't know how he can be killed, but I think he's eternal. See,
that's the thing. There's a lot of debate on is Tom Bombadil one of the Maiar? Is he an immortal?
Yes, he is.
Or is he timeless?
Eternal.
And by that, the debate is that is he essentially the living embodiment of nature?
System admin.
Which means he will always be, he can't actually be killed. He can't be harmed. He is just there. Now let's look at the morality of Tom Bombadil. His moral compass is focused solely on keeping balance of the natural world. That's pretty much it. Showing kindness and respect towards the natural order of things. He chooses to operate within the boundaries of his domain, his area, which in the book, what was it? The tree who is essentially trying to eat the hobbits. Yeah, that's right. There's a tree that tries to eat the hobbits in Lord of the Rings. It just stops because he's like, hey, knock it off. Give me them. It spits them out. Like even a dark, you can almost say malevolent entity will just like, oh, I'm sorry, here you go. It'll bow down to him without him doing anything because it's within his domain, his natural order. And when it comes down to it, his detachment from power is what really makes him what he is. Like, he cares about harmony and balance in nature. He believes in living in harmony with nature without seeking, domination or seeking to control it or anything, or even change it for that matter, just living with it as it is. And I absolutely love Tom Bombadil simply because he is probably the single most powerful creature in all of Middle-earth.
And that's why I don't think he's magic. I think he's too divine.
He's
not a magic user. He is.
Yeah, there's magic.
So
divine.
He is
it's
magic.
Divine energy.
So he is magic.
No, I don't. I don't think he is magic. I think that he is either what's his name? Eru Iluvatar is the one who created all the deities who helped create,
right?
Who sing. I think he's like a straight line through to that person. And to me, it's like God and angels if you're a biblical Christian type person who help create things. I think that this guy here is like an angelic creature. I think it's divine energy. I don't think it's
he
magic
is the embodiment
energy.
of our idea of Mother Nature. He is
Gaia. It could be, which is in mythology a Greek or
the giant island that lays down and goes to sleep in Moana.
So I don't.
You never watched Moana?
I did once.
It's essentially it's the deity that like created them in the Polynesian.
I'm not doubting the powerful nature of this person. I just don't think
you don't feel he's a magic user.
I think he just uses divine cosmic force to do.
See, I felt more like he emanates magic. Like he is a magical creature. I guess not really using the magic, but he is made of the magic. But you're saying
he's just made of energy.
He's more of okay, so you think he's more along the lines less Maiar and more like I said, the embodiment of the natural order of things, because that's
yes.
Okay.
I think he's more of a force. Whereas Gandalf, even though he is one of the angelic type people, he still has to like whisper to his pine cone to set it on fire. He still has to do spells.
Right.
Saruman still has to do spells. Whereas this guy just it just flows and he's unaffected by so many things. Like when Gandalf touches the ring, he gets the flash. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This guy's like, Like, because he's so divinely above,
even his
he's on Spectre level.
Even his wife.
I think he's probably more than the Spectre level, really.
Even his wife or significant other. I can't remember her name now.
He has a wife in the books?
Kind of. But
a confidant.
They really allude that she is essentially the embodiment of like water, that she is, a fluid.
See that just
now and Grant. Oh, I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
That just furthers my suspicion that he's one of the two blue wizards.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's a wizard at all.
I think he's above wizardry. See, I really do. I think spellwork is below him.
Well, see, that's just like there's
he's deity.
There's all
divine.
The theories of when Gandalf said "Fly, you fools." He was saying, "Hey, get the eagles and fly to Mordor." There's a whole breakdown. Like, I'll send it to you. There's a very detailed breakdown of why that is a horrible idea, because essentially the giant eagles are like one step below Gandalf or above. It might have been above. They were like right below the Maiar and stuff. They were considered divine beings.
They talk about in the Silmarillion how they were created.
Dude, okay, because the worry was that if they got the ring, it would corrupt them as the eagles, and it just wouldn't have worked because they were too powerful, but they were still corruptible.
I think they could have flown him there fast enough.
Whereas,
but, whatever.
Whereas Senor Bombadil is just, he doesn't care.
Yeah, it's because I think he's divine. I don't question his abilities, and I think he's an amazing character. I just don't think he's a magical user, is all.
All right,
I think he's above magic.
My backup number 3 is the Spectre from DC.
Frodo. Magical Frodo.
Sam and his magical plant touch. It just takes him a long time to grow the plants because,
Sam, where did you get this weed at?
All right, well, that's my number 3. I'm sticking.
Oh, Tothi. From the South Farling.
So, what do you got?
Number 3 for me is my only comic book character, I do believe. John Constantine.
Ooh,
is who I chose. I chose John Constantine.
He almost made my list.
Why? Well, I've seen John in several different forms, whether it be in the comics, on TV, cartoon form, or the movies. Shannon McCormick, Paula Rhodes, Damien O'Hare, Matt Ryan, and Keanu Reeves have all lent their talents to the Hellblazer. Even Jenna Coleman plays an ancestor in the Sandman universe, which we know her from
Doctor Who.
That's right. She's my favorite companion to Doctor Who. She is. That's fine. She doesn't be yours, but she is mine.
I gotta give it to Karen Gillan.
I thought she was a little overrated. I didn't hate her. I personally like Matt Ryan the best, as I felt like he oozed wicked charm while balancing the anti-hero rope walk. He's a British occult detective, con man, and magician. He has extensive knowledge in the supernatural, which aids him in his use of sorcery and performing exorcisms. He's brash, he chain smokes, and he tells it how it fucking is. He's a great in deception, but he will also toss himself out into the open to help an innocent victim. Now, there was a short-lived live-action TV show, one season, and I was so mad that it only got one season. It was so good. But luckily, DC was still doing some cartoon movies after that, and Matt Ryan lent his voice in those cartoons. There's the one where like shit's just going, like the universe is going to be destroyed, and he's in there. Like, he's just a character that's, he's just so likable. He's got that British charm about him. Like, he's an asshole. You feel like he's gonna stab you in the back. For all those that want to play like a roguish warlock in D&D, like, this is the guy you want to be, man.
Which, if you don't know, Matt Ryan is the one who played Constantine in Legends of Tomorrow on the CW.
Yeah, he was in there too. God, man, he
played it more than once.
Oh yeah,
he had a whole entire one season of a TV show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There was one point where they were going to somebody's going to touch Dr. Fate's helmet down in his little lair, and he goes, no, don't you touch that, no. Because that was horrible. I'm sorry about that accent. It was just off the fly, but
I didn't know he had his own spinoff. Or was it before?
It was one season.
Before Legends?
Uh-huh. They loved him so much that he went to the cartoon, and then they put him on Legends because he did so well.
See, I'm going to have to look this up. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I love him. I like him more than Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, the Keanu Reeves movie, which we're supposedly next year in 2026 getting Constantine 2, which is, I liked the first. It was 7. Cool. I liked it, but I didn't know who the character was at the time. But reading some of the comics, going through the encyclopedias, watching the cartoons and the stuff, I was like, dude, this guy's...
What's his name that plays Satan in that?
Oh, he's good in everything.
Oh my gosh.
He's got a new movie coming out too called After Nightfall or something coming out too soon.
Look up his name. I can't remember, but
he plays a Russian in so many different things. He plays in Prison Break. Yep. The TV show, like, you know who we're talking. If he shows you an image,
I know you're talking about. I'm trying to think
man, he's so good.
Peter Stormare.
Yeah, there's what movie is it where he's at the table? Okay. And like he's just messing with the family. He's like, "I'm your daddy now." Like, yeah, he's
I'm your daddy now.
Yeah, I am your daddy now.
He is a solid actor.
So good. He's one of those guys that for years you didn't know who he was. He was just in all these movies as like a B character, or maybe even the villain. But he just kept coming back and coming back. Like he was like an Eccleston.
Yeah.
Only I think he's risen above Eccleston at this point. Like,
could you imagine Matt Ryan as Doctor Who?
Matt Ryan would probably kill it.
A chain-smoking Doctor Who. I want to see it.
Oi, cunt, get over here, right? Yeah. John Constantine is just, there's something that draws you to him. And he has a way when he rolls up his sleeves and lights up that cigarette. And like, I wanted to cross over with him and the Winchesters so fucking bad because of just the way, because that's kind of how his TV show went for the first season. He was out he was scrying and he was finding where the evil beings were. And there was this girl that was with him. Oh, they would have been great. Him and Crowley in a scene together, dude, would have been pure Academy Award-winning gold. Would have been
amazing.
You wouldn't be able to understand either of them.
So good. And I want to say Rowena was close to me. Like, Rowena.
She almost made my list.
So I had Constantine, but I was only thinking of Keanu Reeves. I wasn't even thinking of Matt Ryan. I had him on my list 3 times and kept getting bumped off.
Oh, man.
I just couldn't pull the trigger.
It's just if I feel like if I wanted a group of magical beings to like come together and do something, like I'd call Constantine.
Oh yeah,
because he has such an out of the box way of thinking. Where Doctor Strange is we need to do it this way, we need to do it by the book, and Wanda may be a little bit crazy, and got all these other characters doing thing where he's gonna be like, no, mate, we're going to do it this way. He's got that Billy Butcherness about him. That because it's that British nature where he's just going to come at a bad guy that the bad guy's not even going to think of. And in the cartoon, I can't remember what he did in the cartoon, but it was something the villain didn't expect. And I'm pretty sure he maybe sacrificed himself to do this. But it was just, he's a guy that even though he's such a prick, he'll go, no, you're not killing that child. You can do whatever you want to me, dismember me, do whatever you want, take my soul, but you're not touching that child, and I will do absolutely anything possible to stop you. And if that means killing these other 100 pricks, that's fine, but you're not killing this girl. And there's something about that. He's like a warlock version of Frank Castle. It's just, I don't know. I really like the character. I kind of really want to read more about him. I'd like to go back and read some old issues. You know, it's man, I love this guy, and that's my pick.
I like it.
Yeah, he's a guy. He didn't go off my list. He kind of got towards the bottom a few times where I was like, man, I can't get rid of Constantine. He's just too good of a warlock. Like I can't. And I'm pretty sure at some point, like part of his soul has been sold or something. So like he's kind of forced to do things at times, but he's kind of like stuck. He kind of always seems to have like a shadow about, like he knows he's going to die at some point. He knows he's going to hell. Like he knows his path is not going to end good.
I'll say he
doesn't care. He still does good things.
In the Keanu Reeves movie, I believe it was he sold his soul to the devil to come back as, you know, this all-powerful sorcerer. And that's why he knew, like, I'm literally damned.
Yeah,
to begin with.
No matter what you do.
What's it matter?
John, have you seen the Constantine movies?
Yeah, the ending of it was actually pretty
Have you seen Legends of Tomorrow with Matt Ryan?
Yep.
Yeah, did you like the Constantine version there? Which one did you like better?
I want to say Legends of Tomorrow. I thought he was funnier because in the movie...
It's hilarious!
The movie, I like Keanu Reeves, but it was dark. It wasn't like super funny, and I'm like, in Legends of Tomorrow, he had like that sarcastic, because I was like, yeah, you're a twat, I know.
Oi, mate, let's get a drink, right? You know? Yeah. Well, that's my pick. I am going to be watching Constantine again on my horror journey. It is like a horror comic book.
What year was that?
Movie.
Early 2000s.
At least early 2000s.
It was after I graduated, so it has to be.
I was thinking like 4 or 5.
Because I'm on 98 now, and I don't think it's 99 or something. It's got to be like 05 or something.
Because I think I was in high school when it came out. I think. But okay. I like it. That's a solid pick.
Yeah, he almost made my list.
Well, who did make your list? Who do you have at number 2?
So number 2 was almost made number 1. I made my list basically around him, and that is God Emperor Doom. Victor Von Doom is
you can just say Dr. Doom. It has to be
God
Emperor Doom.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a reason why that.
I want to say it was on my list.
Yep.
In the new Secret Wars reboot of, I think it was the early
2005, by the way, for Constantine. 2005.
Okay, I was going to say 2004.
Good pick. Good job, man.
Yeah, and one of the Secret Wars. Was it Secret Wars?
It was Secret Wars, yep.
It was God Emperor Doom because he actually ended up killing the Beyonder, and
he's like kind of enslaves Doctor Strange in a way.
Just took over.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of taking over John's pick here, so let's John go ahead and explain to us why God Emperor Doom, not regular Doctor Doom.
So reasoning behind it is like Victor Von Doom. Like, I love the storyline behind him. I love how everything, like with his story, how it came up. He's basically a villain by circumstance. I mean, like he loses his mom as a kid, and just that kind of traumatizes him. So he basically turns to magic. Gets trained by Morgan Le Fay from freaking King Arthur. I mean, there's like in the Dark Avengers, you see him fighting all these like demons she's sending at him. The Dark Avengers come in, his whole castle gets destroyed, and with basically a snap of his fingers, this whole castle like just magically reappears.
I just want to point out just real quick. I just got to throw in here one of my favorite Doctor Doom moments ever. There's 2 of them, but one of them I'll throw out here. When 9/11 happened, a little while after Marvel put out a comic book where it shows the rubble. You have all these heroes like Spider-Man, Captain America, and they're all moving rubble around, and Doctor Doom shows up.
And you see the teeth.
And he's like, Doctor Doom wouldn't even have pulled this shit.
Yeah.
Doctor Doom condemned it. And like Doctor Doom does some devious shit, right?
Yeah.
But even Doctor Doom's like, nah. This is some bullshit. Buddy.
Yeah, he's just like, no, you attacked innocent people. Yeah. But even right there, he cares so much for his people in Latveria. He's evil, but
nobody starves in Latveria. I'll point that out.
Don't.
Nobody starves.
If you're Latvian, he works for you, not the other way around. But
Doctor Doom 2028. 9?
Yeah.
Doctor Doom 2028. Let's do this.
But anyway, like, I love it because like he's incredibly smart. He's very methodical about what he does. But if you mess with anything that he has, I mean, he will punt a kitten if you screw with his pan.
If you don't put on a gif of a kitten being bunted right there, I'm gonna be very upset.
I would have AI make it, but I guarantee that it'll go against policies.
Yeah.
Just show a kitten flying.
But I mean,
you don't have to see the kicking part.
He's like, besides being methodical, he's strong. He's deadly smart.
What about that time he like took out a lion with only
with just like his bare hands?
Yeah, he was just naked, and then he turned the lion hide somehow without any weapons into a mask.
Yeah.
Like one strike killed a lion. No
massive
shit.
lion. He just freaking just
Boom.
yeah. I'm like,
Took him
okay, yeah.
Backhand.
But the badass moment,
Chop.
like, my badass moment for him as God Doom is Thanos, a Titan, one of the villains that like everyone has an issue with. He's just like, you're talking shit. Reaches into his chest, pulls out his spine and his skull, and is just like,
Pulls a predator.
He basically pulls a predator with one of the strongest villains in Marvel. I'm like, okay. I'm like, he's just badass. I'm like,
And the skull had chin ripples.
probably did. I mean, they probably have that.
I mean, it's a well-known fact that the only reason like he's not Sorcerer Supreme is because Doctor Strange got into a car accident
Exactly.
at a certain time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if Doctor Strange didn't exist, he would have been chosen as the Sorcerer Supreme.
But I mean, and the reason why he made number 2 is, yes, he's methodical, he's smart, but how he got his power from Beyonder, it was conniving. It's just like, he killed the Beyonder, got the power, but there are ways that he could have lost the power, which he did, which is why he got on the number 2 spot. It's just like,
So you definitely want a little bit of power was a giant factor for you.
exactly. It's just like,
Okay.
it's like, I understand like his backstory is just like, there are ways that he's bad. But
I would have
not entirely-
respected him more had he killed the Beyonder and took that sweet jacket with the collar.
Yeah, yep.
Look at Dr. Doom's got a leather jacket now.
But I like
Bibbidi.
that's the reason why he got number 2. It's just like there are ways that he could still lose that power. And it's just like I love Dr. Doom, my favorite villain of Marvel of all time. But I'm like,
Did you read that whole series?
I did not.
So
I'm actually when Malachi has the book, I'm actually currently reading it now.
So it's not a spoiler, but you find out that he has, I think it's the Atomic Man or something like that, chained up.
Molecule Man?
Molecule Man.
Molecule
Thank you.
That's yeah,
Not
he's
really
the reason-
chained up, but imprisoned like underground.
Molecule Man's got some power, bro.
But that's the reason why he loses
Mad
the
Jim
powers.
Jasper.
Well, so he's got him imprisoned down there, and Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Miles Morales find him because they ended up on the battle world. And there's a part where he's saying how he'd kill for like something to eat, and Miles pulls out a cheeseburger. And there's this whole exchange of him giving the cheeseburger to him, and he's there eating it. And Peter Parker's like,
Where did you get that?
hey, he's like, where'd you pull that from? And he's like, how old is that? And he's like, oh, it's only a couple days. He's like, we've been in cryo for like 3 years. So it's 3 years and a couple days. And it's this exchange that like I was busting up laughing reading because it's completely out of left field, but at the same time, it's 100% Spider-Man. Like,
Yes, absolutely.
it was amazing.
The only thing better than Spider-Man is 2 Spider-Mans talking together.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know me, I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan, but
Yeah.
Anything else on God Emperor Doom?
No, like I said, it was just
Played by Robert Downey Jr. in the future.
It was a very hard pick for me. I was just like,
How do you feel about RDJ playing Dr. Doom? Out of 10.
I mean,
1 being that's the fucking dumbest idea in the universe, to 10 going like you couldn't have cast anybody better.
I want to say 7. I have high
You can
hopes.
leave the podcast.
I have
now.
high hopes for this, but I know they're not going to be reached. I'm just like,
See, I see from both ends.
that's what she said.
Because there's 100%.
That's that's awkward.
I don't want to know how that works. But no, having comic book knowledge, 100%, you can see how it could fall either way. That being said, you could have just not gone the RDJ route. Like, I'm sorry, I love him. He's an amazing Iron Man.
I could probably, if you give me IMBD right now, I could come up with 5 actors who would be better.
We said before, Jeremy Irons.
True,
Jeremy
but
Irons
like,
would kill it.
I see this as being a way to actually replace the people who played like Captain America, who played like Iron Man.
You think this
just
is going to be a soft reboot?
I think it's going to be a soft reboot. I think that's why they chose RDJ to play Doom, because
I thought it
there
was
are
just
ways
lazy,
that
but-
like different variants.
See,
Yeah, but they're saying he's not a variant. How many times is Kevin Feige saying he's not a variant? He is Dr. Doom.
so the big running theory online is because in the comics, they're now coming out and saying Tony Stark was adopted,
Yeah, I know, and it's stupid
which
as
I
shit.
hate because...
So stupid.
Yeah. So the big running theory is that he was adopted by the Latvian family instead of the Starks. He was raised as Victor Von Doom. So it's the same person, but it's the legitimate Victor Von Doom just from a different timeline where that person followed a different life path.
Boring.
I hate the idea. I do.
Boring. Stupid.
I
Dumb.
do think it'll be interesting if we
Dumb.
get like Chris Evans back as Captain America, seeing him being like,
Oh, that's
Tony.
fine. I have no problem with
And
that.
he'll be like, who the f*** is Tony?
Yeah, but he's supposed to wear a mask the entire time. So, like, it's a whole Reed Richards thing. It's not about him interacting with other people.
Yeah.
When he's in college, he puts the fucking mask on.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well,
Shit, and burns his fucking
I was
face
gonna
even
say,
more.
to be fair, there's a point where like his mask is essentially fused to him. Like,
Yeah, because he was ignorant
off.
to the fucking risk. He was too arrogant. He
Yeah.
was like, no, this is fine. Don't worry about it, bro. I let it cool down. Dumbass. Anyway, let's move on. Just give me your next pick before I fucking blow a fucking gasket over here.
All right, so my next pick is God Emperor Doom.
Shouldn't let me drink during the podcast. Well, that's fine. I mean, if that's
right.
what you chose, it's your choice, and I will never be on this podcast ever again.
My next pick is
The
God
train
Emperor
left the
Bombadil.
station.
God, Emperor, dude, could Bombadil take out the Beyonder and take his leather jacket?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
in his domain.
I've been doing it now on TV where
Leather jacket.
no, because we've noticed we're watching The Rookie, right? And I've noticed in a lot of TV shows, every badass female cop has to have a leather jacket, and it's 3 or 4 times down The
It's in
Rookie.
Castle too.
And I can do it like, yeah, I know.
Yep.
And even Emily now is noticing it.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Love it.
Yeah, I know.
Love it.
I know.
I'm like, really? The red, like, come on.
Every badass woman in a cop show has to have a leather jacket. That's how you know.
All right.
Oh man, was the show The Prodigal Son, with the serial killer and his son's like a cop type of person. The partner that likes him a lot has a leather jacket and she's badass. It has to. Anybody writing a TV show out there, stop giving badass women a leather jacket. Just let them be a badass without the leather jacket.
So I absolutely hate that this is my transition. However, going
Jessica Jones.
Going to my next
No,
pick.
I don't know.
Well, she has a leather jacket.
Oh fuck.
No,
So
all right,
Wanda.
Does
for real. Going to my next pick. Molly Carpenter from the Dresden Files books.
No idea who this is.
There's
so
a
I'm on my
point-
depth.
I just recently came across this. Yep.
There's a point where she wears leather jackets.
Molly who? What's her name, ma'am?
Molly Carpenter.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So Molly Carpenter is the daughter of Michael Carpenter, who is one of Harry Dresden, the main title character of the books. One of his best friends. Michael Carpenter is also a Knight of the Cross who wields one of the holy swords. So in the book, there's an order that maintains basically the battle between good and evil, demons and light, and these 3 knights have swords that are forged from the nails that crucified Christ. Well, this is the daughter of one of those knights, which is why she was raised in a very heavily Catholic home. I mean, obviously because they're firm believers, which is why he was chosen as one of the knights. Which is why she really kind of, shakes things up when she starts to experiment and study witchcraft and magic. And she starts getting into the more occult. Well, because of that, she becomes Harry Dresden, like I said, the main character of the books. She fucks up a lot of stuff. Let's put it that way. She experiments, she messes up, she summons some things that she shouldn't, like some pretty bad things snowball at different points. Harry steps in and saves the day. So eventually she essentially becomes an unofficial protege to Harry. More or less just so he can keep an eye on her and fix her mistakes. I mean, that's really what it starts out as, but it kind of snowballs into more of, well, if you're going to learn this, you need to learn the correct way to do this. Through a series of connections, she ends up getting connected very indirectly with what is known as the Winter Lady, who is a fae. Obviously, there's a lady for each season of the fae courts. And if you don't know fae, it's fairies, and which in most of this type of fantasy, fae are not happy little fairies with wings. They are conniving,
They're not the Winks.
They're not happy. Yeah, no. They're like leprechauns. They're looking for an angle everywhere they go, but fae are more brutal.
Give me gold.
Well, Molly ends
I love
up...
Warwick Davis.
Molly ends up connected to one of the main fays and ends up sort of studying under her instead of Harry. Well, that fae dies.
I feel like you're giving me the entire story here.
Sadly, I'm giving you an incredibly tiny piece. Like, her story's very deep.
I feel like I'm getting a beginning, a middle, and an end.
No, not at all, actually.
Okay.
But she does end up becoming the Winter Lady. which with that, her power, it's tenfold. Like it explodes. So what kind of magic does she possess?
Power of the Winter Lady, obviously.
Well, she starts. Well, yeah, I mean that, but that gives her command over like kind of like the winter seasons.
She
like
has the sword.
Cold, the ice, stuff like that. She actually never gets the sword. Her dad does have.
Why did you mention the sword?
To prove the point that like her going down this path was completely unprecedented. She should never have gone down the path. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
So yeah, her magic is stemmed out of, again, it's like the witchcraft, more spell based, like casting, not really ritualistic. And she's more into the mental magic. Like she could make you smell things that aren't there, hear things, see things. Like she's a very illusionary type caster.
There's a specific name for that, and it's eluding me at the moment.
Yes, I know, and I can't think of what it's called.
I'll have to go to powerwiki.com and find out what it is.
She's also very adept in, I guess you could almost call it like the power of persuasion. Like she can put thoughts into your mind so that you'll want to do something thinking it's your idea when it was her the entire time.
I think Julia Wicker from Magicians kind of does this sort of thing with her physical magic, which is her specialty. I was reading about it today, where she can make lights flicker and do other things. Make you, I'm pretty sure they just described everything you do. Like she can make us, like it sounds like a rock got thrown somewhere, but even though it didn't, it's like a spell that does that. Okay, yeah, so she's kind of. But I get what you're saying then.
But Molly takes it to like an absurdly higher level. Like I mean, she's just like, she doesn't have to think about it. She doesn't have to cast it. Like she can just at a certain point in her life just do it. Almost like the Beast, Martin Chatwin. Like she can just Chatwin. She can essentially just do it because she is so experienced now. Well, the thing is with her, even though she ends up with all this power, she ends up, making her fair share of mistakes. She ends up causing the main story for some of the books. She holds true to her original values of family. So there's so many times where you see her put her family in front of her duties as Winter Lady, or, she needs to do this. Well, she finds a loophole or some way to do it to her own personal means rather than the way it was supposed to be done in order to make sure her family benefits. And there's a point where, like, they even describe her, she has half pink, half blue hair because she goes to that hardcore rebel phase, the leather jacket, and
it's a sign. It's a badge of honor.
She becomes one in the books. Like I said, I think there's 22 of them. 22 of the Undying Mercenaries. Sorry. She becomes one of Harry's most amazing allies throughout those books. Like her story arc.
So she's Robin the Batman.
Well, her story arc starts as literally the daughter of this dude. She doesn't matter. Do not tell me the end of that fucking story arc. You just said it starts off here. Do not tell me where it ends up. No, I'm just saying. And then her arc, like, it's out of nowhere. She just shows up and becomes a very important part of the story. I would give anything to get you to read those, but I know you want to read the Wheel of Times first because I think you would. And I got a lot of those to go. You would fall in love with that whole world. I mean, I'm sure I would. Phenomenal. But not when you tell me everything that happens. Again, I haven't told you damn near anything. All I know is there's a sword that she has nothing to do with, but it was part of your story, and she's a lady who has duties of the winter. Also, not to be confused with the song from that metal band from the 80s that had a song called Lady of Winter. Maybe they read the Dresden Files. I don't know. Crimson Glory has a song called Lady of Winter. You should look it up. You should look at the lyrics and see if it has anything to do with the Dresden Files. So they did do one season of the Dresden Files. I don't even think they cast her part in it, though. But they had, what was his name? Paul Blackthorne. He played Detective Lance. I don't know who Blackthorne is. In Arrow. I don't know who that is. Okay. Well, I said that before you finished your sentence. Okay, yeah. He played Dresden, which he played well, but it didn't fit. It had those really, really bad, like early 2000s CGI. Like, it just didn't go well, and it got canceled after one season. I saw it on like Sci-Fi, and I was like, nah, I don't know what that is. No, thank you.
Yeah, he just wasn't a great fit for that. It's just like, I think he was a little too old for that.
But
John, what do you know about? Do you know about the Dresden Files?
I know very little. In a recent game I played, I got to meet Dresden.
And by game, he means in a recent D&D campaign. The guy running the campaign right now likes to pull things from other stories.
That's what I've heard.
And so he dropped our group in the Harry Dresden world, helping Harry Dresden. And that's why I kept saying the whole time, where's Molly?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to pair up with her because I knew she's a badass. Read the Dresden Files. Pick up Stormfront. It's book number 1. It's phenomenal. That's all I'm going to say for now. I will talk more about it later off mic because now you got me going. That's my number 2 pick, Molly Carpenter from the Dresden Files. Michael, what do you got?
Well, I don't know about Molly, but we'll stick with the M theme, and let's go with Margot Hansen. Okay.
Nice.
From The Magicians. Why, John, you're asking, with those eyes of yours? I don't know what color they are. I'm not close enough. But Summer Bishel
Sure.
portrays the badass, foul-mouthed High King of Fillory that specializes in physical magic. Yeah, that's right. She's the fucking High King, and you better fucking remember it.
With one eye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a fairy eye in there, which I'll get to. She wants everyone to over-re-up and to get shit done. She might have had an eye taken, but now she has a fairy eye that she can use as a replacement in which she can see the astral realm. She's a highly skilled magician from Breakbills and the best friend of Elliot, who almost made my list. Elliot, God, it was like Elliot, Margot, Julia. Who do I pick? I chose the one with the dirty mouth. Despite being a party animal, she's competent in battle magic, and she's also savvy enough to get out of a lot of different predicaments. She has a sharp tongue and a strong will. In the books, but not on the TV show, she can manipulate ice, apparently. She's a skilled leader that can use either a Smith & Wesson Model 12 or twin axes, in which she is named Sorrow and Sorrow. Basically, she is, in her own words, the bitch. Why did I pick Margot? Basically, Margot is just a force. Okay, she is not the most powerful from Breakbills, but she's definitely not a slouch. She can show a lot of people up out of nowhere, but it's really her mouth, it's really her words, it's really her moxie, her savviness that gets a lot of things done. When all these other people are crybabying and they're worried about what are we going to do? What are we going to do? She's like, listen, shut the fuck up. This is what we're going to do. We're going with plan A. This is what he said. Let's go. And you know what? She's not so stuck up. You're like, oh, she's a stuck up woman who won't, she's so much better than anybody. Dude, I mean, she gave a couple people a few shots in the show. I mean,
if you say game over, man, to her, she's going to backhand you.
Yes. Yeah, she doesn't like it. The only reason, like, she really kind of got become the king. I mean, they all become like kings in a way, but she became the high king. She was nice to the animals. At first, when you meet her in the TV show, you think she's this stuck up girl who's just better than everybody. Like her and Elliot. Oh my God, she's just like whatever. But then you find out like she has heart, and she speaks both languages, by the way, English and Indonesian. She speaks Duolingo. But yeah, she has heart. She cares about her friends. She may talk shit about you, kind of like I do to John all the time, even when he's here or not here. But yeah, I still love John, and I'll step up for John. And she does the same for Quentin. She thinks Quentin is a dumbass, but she will still step up for him.
She won't say anything about him that she won't say to his face.
Exactly. And I appreciate that on a human level. You have to give people the business in a way with the words to let them know how much you care. But when it comes to magical ability, like she's just, granted, she's not Martin Chatwin. Okay. She's not on deity level. And I didn't base mine a lot on power level. Otherwise, I would have had Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange, Wanda, boom, boom, boom. It would have been the most powerful. I went on characters that I just, as soon as I saw her on screen, I was like, this is my favorite character in the series. I mean, I could go on about like feats. I mean, but okay, one of the coolest things that she did is there is a ship, a sentient ship that's supposed to take people wherever they want to go. But the ship at some point like doesn't want to do it. It doesn't want to mate with another ship. And they're like, it needs to do this. And everybody's trying to force it. And she's like, no, this ship has rights. This ship doesn't want to bang. We're not going to force it to fuck. It doesn't want to. She stood up for a ship. She's like, this ship is not going to be raped.
I wish.
Absolutely not.
I wish our listeners could see John's face having no idea what you're talking about right now.
She cares about people's rights.
Oh, the best part is that's part of the show.
Yes, it is. I've
seen it, yes.
No bullshit from anybody. And I think if you got somebody very powerful that could train her, she would be one hell of a magician, witch, wizard, whatever you want to call him,
Martin,
to deal with. Yeah, I mean, I know Julia hooked up with him for a minute, but like if Margot would have hooked up with him and learned some things,
yeah,
dude, Margot was Like when they did the whole competition, like in the first season where Quentin's supposed to do things and he kind of doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Like she was just like, she knew it, like she knew the rules, everything. Like they portray, like she's a cool dual character because they portray her as like an airhead, but then instantly that goes away because she's most often the most competent person in the room.
Yeah.
Like everybody's literally scrambling to learn how to tie their shoes and she's already learning to drive a car. Like she's already ready to go. She's extremely intelligent. Just I think she purposely downplays it.
Well, even if she doesn't know how to do something, she's the most calm and she figures it out because she keeps a level head and she's just open to, okay, what do we do?
She doesn't like show jealousy towards other people. You know, I don't know. She's just a very realistic character. I wish I would have got more of her childhood to know where she came from because they don't really touch on that. And I don't know if they do in the books. I know they don't in the TV show.
Funny enough, in the books, her name is not Margot.
It's her name from when in the season where they have different personalities.
Yes. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, whenever they have different names because like they don't remember, the name that she goes by is her actual name from the book. Yeah.
Yeah. And they make her more bitchy in that one. She's like a stuck-up
Sadly,
person.
in the book, her personality is totally different. I think that's one of the reasons I like the show more, is I really liked the Margot Elliott aspect, and they downplayed that hardcore in the book.
How did you feel about Margot in season 1 that you watched?
I mean, from what I watched, I mean, she was pretty funny. She had a couple of good like one-liners whenever they were like bickering. Like she would be the one that would shut everybody up like,
over up.
Yeah, exactly.
I sent Josh a gift today. It said, I just want to stab somebody. Like, she's just so good. Like when she becomes High King of Fillory, not High Queen, High King of Fillory, not Queen, King.
She's in charge.
She in charge. That is right. Like she does such a good job as a ruler. Like she'd be my queen any day, man. I'd throw myself on a sword for her to get things done. Hell yeah. Yeah, but that's my pick at number 2. Here we are, folks. We're at number 1. You've been dragging along with our rabbit holes, rabbit trails.
Come back in 2 weeks.
You know, for those of you that love 3-hour episodes, we got 1 more hour to go with 1 more pick apiece. John, start us off with your number 1 pick, my friend.
All right. So for my number 1 pick, and of course it's going to be an anime character. You're right, Michael.
All right, who is it?
His name is His name is Anos Voldigode, the main hero of the Misfit of the Demon King Academy. Now, the reason why I like him is personality-wise, he's laid back, he's super confident because he knows he's super powerful, so he just doesn't have to give a shit. However, how the story starts off is
he the actual misfit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Misfit of the Demon King Academy.
And how does it start off?
So it starts off with him being the demon lord, the main, at that time, the bad guy who's like everyone's trying to fight. He's winning overpoweredly, but realizes like, hey, listen, like I just want people to be in peace. So he decides to kill himself, knowing he's going to resurrect with all of his powers hundreds of years in the future. So he does that, brings basically peace reigns over. He gets reincarnated, comes back as a child for like a day, and then turns into a grown ass adult. So his parents are like, what the hell? So he ends up going to this academy for demon kings. And it's funny because everyone's just like, oh, you're a half-blood, oh, blah, blah. And not knowing that they're talking about the guy who made their country. So he's just like, all right, well, first thing happens, this guy starts trying to pick a fight. And he's just like, all right, we're going to take this to the arena. I'm going to kick your ass. He's like, okay. They get to the arena and he just snaps.
I really hope when I watch it, like the anime is literally like, okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they go to fight, and this guy goes to attack him. He snaps his finger, guy fucking explodes. You see every part of him is going across the field.
Is this divine demonic power, or is this magic?
It's magic, because he snaps his finger back, and he reincarnates the guy right in front of him, and he's just like...
Yeah, no, I understand the ability, but is the ability being drawn from magic, or is it being drawn from the fact that he's a demon, which is...
No,
divine.
He has magic because they have to learn spells. There's like magical circles and things that they have to learn how they operate. But what's neat about this is the guy's just like, you just killed me. And he goes to attack him again, snaps his finger. The guy explodes a second time.
Okay, why would you attack twice when you just exploded?
And he's just like, I can keep doing this, and just start snapping his fingers. Death, alive, death, alive, death, alive. After about like
from a metal band.
after about like the 50th time, the guy's like, "Please stop doing this." He's just like, "All right, all you got to do is just say you give
Why do you
up."
even go to the academy if he already has the ability and all these magical things to do? What was the point of even go to the academy?
To see how everything progressed, to see how like.
You could read the internet.
But what happens is he's seeing the division amongst his people, like between the purebloods and the half-bloods, and he's just like, "Really?"
Harry Potter.
Yeah, basically, it's like, but
Only with demons.
But there's other races, like there's spirit people, there's humans.
Did they
There's
show these magical classes he has to go to?
Yeah, actually they do. It's actually pretty funny.
What are some of the names of the magical classes?
Is it divination?
Defense,
No, like there's
dark arts,
no, like there's
potions.
like one of the classes has to do with like those magic circles, like for conjuring and like doing like illusion magic and things like that.
Yeah, botany.
Yeah.
Copperfield.
But anyway, like
What?
everyone's like struggling to do this.
Well, he said illusions. You said botany. I don't know why you got botany out of illusions, but
It's funny because he's going through and he's like acing all this. They're just like, "Oh, he's got to be cheating." Well, it goes into like,
Wait, they thought he was cheating when they all saw him blow somebody up?
yeah, they're all thinking it's like, "There's no
what
way
did
this
the
is real."
teacher say on the playground?
The teachers are totally against it because again, he's the child of a half-blood parent.
Oh, they're against him blowing people up?
He's not really a child of Half-Blood player because he's resurrected from a demon guy before.
But the thing is, like, they don't want to believe that he's the Demon King reincarnated, so they're like, "No, it's not him."
So here's I got a question and kind of a comment here. I think this is sort of original, but when I was Googling the main character and somebody said on the Google questions, is Demon King Academy worth watching? And somebody said, overall, I'd say, while this isn't the most original series, it is worth watching if you are a fan of the genre. It sounds pretty original to me. Do you think well, obviously you think it's worth watching. Was this something that you would watch, Josh? Do you think it sounds worthy of a take?
I don't think I would, but then again, I mean, I can't do anime.
If it was live action, forget that it's anime.
I mean,
Just the
live
story
action would
itself.
be
Forget
pretty
it's
brutal.
anime.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
But like that one fight scene, like at the very beginning, is what caught me. I was just like, "All right, this is actually pretty funny."
Does he ever actually like say spells, or does he just wave his fingers and just do things?
So there are some spells
Snap
he has to actually say, like for like unlocking doors and stuff. You have to have like a certain like incantation. He goes to do it, and like people are just like, "What the hell?"
Does anybody actually stand a chance against him?
So far, there are a few people who can give him a run for his run.
I just ask because it'd be a really boring show if he's just like, yeah,
That's why people are like, oh, don't you watch One Punch Man or read it? And I was like, no, because he defeats every single person with, you guessed it, one punch. I'm like, what the fuck's the point? You know?
Like Invincible.
I'm just curious if this guy just
I haven't watched
Invincible gets his ass whooped.
No, he's invincible.
No, he gets his ass whooped.
By his dad, right?
Yeah, and that Battle Cat dude, Battle Beast or whatever.
yeah,
Battle Beast beats the living fuck out of him.
Yeah,
Battle Beast is no, I hate his ending, but he's a bad dude.
Yeah, the ending he
dude.
had
That's
like
Stephen Yeun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah,
J.K. Simmons.
Yep, J.K. Simmons. Yep, you nailed it. But yeah, it's like storyline's not great, but I mean the fact that
I thought it sounded original.
I mean, it's decent. Like I loved it for that one part because then the same guy who he killed over and over and over again tries to jump him with his brother, and his brother ends up killing him, and he's just like brings him right back to life again.
So let me ask you this solid question right now, because this is your number one pick. Can you truly, honestly say of every magic user of every TV show, movie, or book of all time that you've ever read or ever had the ability to even faintly hear about, can you truly say this is your favorite magic user ever?
I want to say yeah, because like I like Voldemort. I like things like that, but I'm like,
you'd wear a t-shirt with this dude.
Yeah. He's pretty cool. I like, like the whole premise of the storyline I like because like he's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. He killed himself to basically end a war, and then he brought himself back to see how everything was going. He's what
did you do in the meantime?
Just chilled.
Chill where?
I mean, he was just chilling in another
in the void,
realm.
in the space in between.
Yeah, I mean, like
he was learning how to blow people up with the snap of his fingers.
But I mean, like this, like the entire series isn't done yet, so I'm like, I don't know what happens or where it was because like it leaves off to.
Is this a newer series, like the last couple of years, or what?
I would say the last few years, yeah, because I think it was like maybe 2021, 2022.
Okay,
I'm gonna guess where you can watch it.
Crunchyroll?
Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll.
It's on
Crunchyroll, give us money.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go for a fucking pork egg roll right now. I really would. I could kill for some egg rolls right now.
California roll?
Yeah, I'll go with
I'm
Sakai.
not really a big
salmon.
sushi guy, but I could definitely do an egg roll.
Yeah. I like the vegetable rolls too, but yeah, I will say this, John. I know it seems like I personally, I'll speak for myself here, that I poke fun, but I do appreciate the other side of the spectrum you come from. Josh and I are, I think, 80% similar on a lot of things, 70, 80%. We agree on a lot
Our
of
likes
things.
and dislikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
70-40.
Whereas you, I mean, you gotta leave 10% to the unknown, right? So, but I appreciate that you do come from another angle. You bring a different spice to the recipe that we don't normally. Where somebody, oh, what was that? That was a little different. That's not how you cook this. That's what you bring to this.
Oh, yeah,
a different flavor. And I
Someone who
appreciate
listens that maybe they like anime, maybe they've never heard of that one.
Yeah, they're like, oh shit, and they might check it out and go, God, dude, that dude's badass.
Just like how we never heard of that secret level show on Amazon that I'm definitely going to check out.
Yeah, I'm not, but yeah,
Yes, you will.
no, I won't.
I will tape your eyes open.
That seems like
duct
some Clive
tape.
Barker things.
Bob
But
Barker?
Price is wrong, bitch.
By the way, I watched the trailer for Happy Gilmore 2.
I did not.
No.
No, I'm not doing
No, I
that.
did not watch
no.
the trailer.
No,
The only
I
thing
will
I liked-
eventually watch it. Let's be real.
The only
but
thing I liked was he was at the Grace.
I didn't. No, I don't want to know about it. Don't even tell me. I didn't even watch the trailer. Don't tell me.
They're bringing back the original actors.
Well, I know.
Okay. Really? You're earplugging it?
I don't want to know.
You're earplugging it.
I'm earplugging it.
He runs into Big Daddy.
Bob Barker comes
They are
back.
making a Big Daddy 2 now, I saw.
Even Adam Sandler's running out of ideas now. How about The Wedding Singer 2?
He just wants a paycheck.
How about
now.
Pixels 2?
No.
You know,
God,
how about
yes.
what's the one with the parents and they go on vacation? Let's get a part 4 of that one.
I want to see, was it 51st Dates Part 2, where he's still trying to get her to remember?
Do we think Drew Barrymore will do another fucking 12 movies with him? Goodness gracious. I'm getting on a tangent here. What's your number one, man? I can't talk about it.
I'm done.
Hey, I got a question though. What recast would you do of any sorcerer or magician in any TV show or movie? Would you say Adam Sandler? That guy's going to be recast. Is that person? Who's it going to be?
Oh, that is a good one.
Of all the supernatural people out there, who would you say, you know what? I'm going to recast this character as...
First one that
Adam
comes to
Sandler.
mind for me.
Hey, we didn't get to you yet. You didn't do your number one pick.
Well, he's
You get
thinking.
to think on it.
Okay, I'll think
You
of
get
it.
to think on it.
That is a
That
good
means I got to think about it because I just came up with this question.
So I'm recasting like
Adam Sandler as any magic user in any fantasy-based anything.
Damn.
Yeah, whether it's on a supernatural TV show or Charmed or Lord of the Rings.
And you can't change his personality. It's still Adam
I
Sandler.
know that's what I'm
It's
picturing.
just
It's
Adam
just
Sandler
like-
has to play Gandalf is what we're saying.
I was actually thinking of that.
like,
Almost like
something like that.
I was thinking Dumbledore.
that. Yeah, I'm thinking Dumbledore's gonna be what I was thinking.
Harry.
It's like just
Harry, what the fuck did you do?
Harry, what are you doing?
51st Wizards.
Listen,
Oh
well,
my
we're waiting.
God.
You're not getting out of it. We're waiting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say Dumbledore because it'd be freaking hilarious.
Are you going Dumbledore? Okay.
Yeah.
Josh, who is your number one pick, your favorite magic user of all time? I think I already know because you already said Molly, but we'll see.
My number one pick is Harry Dresden from the Dresden Files.
So you tell me his story from beginning, middle, and end. I want to know everything right now. I want a 20-minute paragraph.
I could tell you his entire story. I really
All right,
could.
just read the books to me
All
right now.
So I will show up every night before bed and we will read a chapter.
Lay it down before I sleep. Josh will read to me, and I will. I don't know. I just.
That didn't work it up. Who is Harry Dresden? It's described immediately in the first book. Chicago's only wizard for hire in the phone book.
Up there in Chicago, got a couple wizards up there and some Kogies.
He is
Won't you?
a
Kogies in Chicago. I don't know.
private investigator who specializes in supernatural cases. Now, I'm very, very confident that you've already assumed that the police think he's a joke. They see wizard for hire and they think like birthday party wizard
Does the police force ever encounter supernatural things?
all the time.
Then why would they think he's a joke?
So so the book actually goes into it. The very first book, it kind of lays the basis. He does a very
Did I
good.
make a mistake asking a question?
Oh yeah, buckle up.
Okay, all right.
So it plays on the idea, and they even say in the first book, like magic, werewolves, vampires, stuff like that is all around us all the time, but we don't see it because we don't want to see it. There's a veil over our eyes, and
That's a lie because I want to see it.
well, yeah, but they explain it. There's a veil over our eyes because we don't want to see what we don't want to see. So we, in our subconscious, make up a different excuse for what we just saw, and you don't even think about it.
I got a way to stop the weeping angels. I just don't want to see them. So I don't.
Don't they attack you though?
What?
Well, I mean, if that's how it works, I just won't see them.
I mean, I'd let them send me back in time if I can pick when I'm going to. It's like, can I get some
Feudal Japan. Good luck.
It's like, look, I just need some money and a passport. All right, just send me. No. So the very first book, the police call him in as a consultant because they encounter a body that looks like
Supernatural Castle.
I mean, kind of.
Nathan Fillion's doing the resurrection when they bring the show back.
No, I couldn't see that. Maybe Matt Ryan with an English accent. Maybe. But no, so they find a body, two of them actually, in a hotel room where it looks like their chests exploded outwards. Like something came out almost. And when they get looking, they find like basically their hearts exploded with such force that it blew a hole in their chests. And Karen Murphy, she's the police detective who always ends up paired with them, can't stand them at first. Obviously, they become great friends, love interest later.
Sounds like Castle.
Kind of. This came out before Castle, by the way.
Also sounds like The Mentalist.
Never watched that one.
It's pretty much Castle.
He's a wizard?
No, he's a mentalist.
Exactly. So they dive into it, they go through everything. She doesn't want to believe it, but he knows what's going on. But the cool thing about this universe is they don't just play it off like Harry Potter where, magic is essentially unlimited. You just have to know how to use it. Or, I don't know.
Do you have mana points?
Kinda, I guess. No. It's not like the Force where only certain people can use it. It draws on your personal energy. You have to focus your energy to cast these spells. You have to know how to cast these spells.
My mind to your mind.
And the cool thing is, like they go into detail in the first book, during like heavy thunder and lightning storms, the energy in the air actually increases your ability to use the magic because there's more
electricity.
Because there's more energy flowing through the air.
Okay.
So he inherited his innate magic abilities from his mother, who unfortunately died in childbirth.
Killed by a noseless wizard.
Nope, just in childbirth.
Okay.
His father, this is one of my favorite parts, was just an everyday like street magician, but had no actual magic. So he
did the cups.
Well, kind of. So
the holes in the back.
Taught Harry how to, I just realized Harry.
David Blaine.
No, but actually, I can't remember the full thing, but his middle name is what was it? Harry something Copperfield Dresden. Like they gave him multiple magician names.
Wow.
But he has multiple names because if you know his full name, you have power over him.
I should have picked a Lord of Illusions person.
What?
Continue. The Lord of Illusions. It's a horror movie with Clive Barker where people
okay.
use magic.
His father ends up dying, of course. I mean, why not? And he goes to live with another wizard who can help, train him, help teach him up. And all
Hero's journey.
Stuff. Well, he discovers that this other wizard is using a lot of his magic for nefarious and very dark purposes. So he confronts him. He ends up killing him in self-defense. No, this is definitely dark shit. But he ends up killing him in self-defense. That is against what they call the White Council. The White Council is, think like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. There's a council of high-leveled wizards that are calling the shots. They're setting laws that you shouldn't break and you can't break. And, well, he done broke one. So he ends up kind of on probation where, like, they check in on him from time to time. So what powers does this dude have?
Magical.
Well, he is amazing with elemental magic. Fire, air, earth. He does the conjuring and the ritualistic type magic that he can manipulate and alter things like that. One of his favorite spells, I can't remember what it is, but it's essentially Latin for like fireball, and it's pretty much a fireball. Go figure. He's skilled in ritual magic where you have to, get the ingredients and you have to do it properly or you mess it up. And that's one of my absolute favorite things is because his new, I guess you could almost say mentor is Bob. Bob is an ancient wizard spirit trapped in a skull.
Globus ignis. It means fireball in Latin.
That's not it, but it's probably close. But Bob is a very old wizard who broke too many laws of magic, and so they entrapped him in a skull covered in runes. He can only come out when Harry says he can come out. He can help, but he can't go anywhere without the skull. He is your classic like comic relief of the book, like 100%. He's amazing because he's also obsessed with porn. So when Harry lets him get on the internet, they talk about like, viruses and everything else. And but there's usually not internet
The
because
guy in the crystal skull is addicted to porn.
in what?
The guy in the crystal skull, Bob, is addicted to porn.
Cursed in a skull, not crystal skull.
And the viruses they talk
It's
about
cursed
are
in a
STDs.
skull.
Yeah, his
It's like a regular skull.
yeah, but it's covered in runes. 'Cause his
It
soul,
would have been cooler if it was a crystal skull covered in
well,
runes.
his soul is stuck inside of it.
But still, he can access trendyporn.com.
But they kind of play it up in the sense of more of a realistic fashion where, like, Harry can't use a cell phone, rarely use a landline or a computer because the magic tends to interact with things like that and short them out. It just screws with them. He can't use them most of the time.
I've always wondered about the, magic and robotics
Well-
mixing and clashing.
And they do it in the book. They explain it because it is an energy source. It's just an energy source that's all around that he learns to focus. Well, because of that, other things like phones that use their own energy sources, they get jacked up. And it weirdly makes sense the way they explain it.
Remember when you used to get like a phone near a speaker or something, or even with a microphone, you get that like crazy.
I did that last time John was here because he's on AT&T.
Dare you?
You don't remember that?
Dare you?
I don't fuck with a
Is that
Verizon.
drinking?
So even though he basically despises the dark arts because of what he went through, every now and then he will use them if needed. It's that morally gray area where if it's for the greater good, he'll do it. And my absolute favorite example is he casts essentially a necromancy spell at one point to, all right, what do you know about Chicago?
I know it's the Windy City. I've been there off of the train.
Yeah,
I know that's where
it's awesome.
Shameless was filmed.
So the one museum up there has the most complete Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton ever
Chicago
found.
Metropolitan
It's
Museum.
named Sue. They named the T-Rex Sue, but it's the most complete skeleton ever found.
Okay.
There's a point where he reanimates it, and it talks about it grows a little bit of muscle back, but not really, so that he can ride it across town because it's the quickest way to get where he needs to go.
I'm
And
curious how he did that when a lot of, even though you said it was the most complete T-Rex, a lot of times they still have to use plaster and other
but
forms.
because it was so complete, he was able to make it work. Like they touch on that, they do,
Okay.
and it's just I don't know how to get really into it, but
No,
it's-
I understand. I'm envisioning it in
him
my head right now. It sounds
with
like a fun time.
the mortician named Butters playing an accordion.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Listen to me.
Because that sounds...
No, listen to me. It's
Hey, man.
him with the mortician whose name is Butters, who's playing the accordion, because they said like in necromancy you need a constant like rhythm or a constant beat to give almost like a heartbeat to the dead so that they can be reanimated.
That makes sense. I wouldn't know if I entrusted Butters, but...
So they needed something. So he's there playing the accordion while riding a T-Rex through town.
Hey, guys, listen to this beat right here.
I don't know how to explain to you when I'm
You just did. You did.
No, I mean like reading this, like when you visualize it, I was almost crying. I'm laughing because the way that
I'm already laughing right now.
was just glorious.
Yeah, I'm just picturing.
Definitely not my vision, but that's an interesting
So
take.
looking back at his powers still, later in the series, he gains what's called Soulfire, which is extremely dangerous. It's a method wizards can use to kind of like pour, like nitrogen into the gas tank or NOS, I guess, where it gives
Too
like
soon, Junior.
it gives a huge boost to your magic. The problem is it literally burns away part of your soul. It grows back, but if you use it too much, you can cause permanent damage.
I love how so many magical stories deal with the soul. It's interesting.
Well, so the thing about
To me,
this,
magic and souls are two different.
well, see, that's the
areas,
thing about
but-
the Dresden Files. They don't focus on just like, oh, it's magic. No, like they give a reason behind it. Like he wears a pentagram necklace all the time, and that's his focus, which is what he essentially focuses his magic through. And there's a part where they talk about like, oh, it's evil and stuff like that, and he's just like, no, it's my holy symbol. He's like, a holy symbol is anything that means like a substantial amount to you more than other things, and like it's all about the energy you put into it that you get out of it.
That's right. What you get out's what you put in. That's how it works.
But I mean, I think you'd really enjoy the story, the entire universe if you got into it. But his morality, he's 1,000,000% a gray area because, like I said, he will do whatever it takes to do the right
I
thing.
didn't hear anything bad. What does he do that's bad?
He brought back a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, to get where he needed to go. But like, what does he do to hurt people?
Well,
Ate a person.
he constantly ends up burning buildings down. It's always by accident. which is just
that's
like
collateral damage.
it's great.
Unintentional.
It's great.
Though.
It's like a running trope.
He didn't like purposely do it though, right?
No, well,
Yeah, so it's unintentional.
not usually.
He says it, but
No, but he is okay with using dark magic only if it benefits the greater good. He's a lot like you were saying about
John Constantine.
John Constantine.
Was it Constantine?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
No, I was like, you can take my limbs and eviscerate me or whatever, but
okay.
like you will not. I was like, you can kill these 100 people, but you're not killing this kid.
Yeah, he's very similar to that in the sense of like he will do whatever it takes to protect the innocent, but at the same time, he still thinks about himself a little bit. Like,
Well, you have it a little selfishness. I've always looked at selfishness as this. Too much selfishness makes you a prick and an asshole. However, if you don't take care of yourself first and look at self-preservation, how are you supposed to stay alive to help others?
so kind of like on an airplane when they say put your mask on before you help others.
Yeah, you kind of need
If you
to.
can't breathe, you can't.
Then they will. Yeah, like, that's just how it works.
Or
It's not
multiple
like I'm a selfish prick, but like I need to be alive to help you.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? That doesn't mean run you over with my car to help you, but you know.
But I mean, the Dresden Files, Harry Dresden especially, I mean, it deals with everything from otherworldly beings, and I don't mean like aliens, so like werewolves and vampires. It deals with demons and stuff. I mean, if you can think of it in the
If it's
supernatural, it's dealt with at some point. Santa Claus is even in the book because he's
He
considered.
got killed by Bill Goldberg, so why not?
No,
Yeah, he did.
no, he didn't.
Yeah, watch
in
the
this
horror
book?
movie.
Nope.
Yeah, Lobo killed him too. That with Lobo.
No, so in this book, in the books, Santa Claus is actually kind of a badass. That's all I'm going to say. You'd have to read it. It's pretty sick.
Jason Momoa killing Santa Claus.
But yeah, I strongly recommend the Dresden Files. Molly's in it. Dresden's in it. He is a half brother who's a vampire. I mean,
My first book
so
doesn't come
much.
with Somali. I'm going to be very disappointed.
I think she's mentioned, but I don't think she's actually in it.
Oh no!
For like the
See,
first
no,
4
I
books.
need a little leather with my bindings. I saw a meme today. It was Dorian Gray or whatever the gray guy is from 50 Shades of Grey. He's like talking about like whips and torture and shit. And there's like Pinhead below, and he's like, "Bitch, please." Like shit. You want pain and pleasure, bitch, over here, okay?
Well, it's just like the Death Knights in Beastmaster.
The berserker dudes.
or leather gimpies
Give me your ferrets.
chasing ferrets through the
Dude, terracotta pipes. What? Who invented terracotta pipes here?
Apparently the good people.
What are you saying, John? What do you have anything to add to this Harry Dresden drivel?
I mean, I wouldn't call it drivel, but I mean, I don't really have much to really add to it. So,
Does he describe it to where you would now, if there was a TV show that came out 2025, Amazon,
I'd watch it.
fucking putting some money behind it, you'd watch it?
Yeah,
I hate.
I would too.
I didn't do it justice at all. Thinking back on everything I've said, like that the story, the whole universe is so deep. Like it is.
Oh, it's a huge franchise.
the T-Rex makes
For sure.
T-Rex
People-
makes me want to read it.
There's a huge fandom behind Edric.
So when I was doing my research
sure.
for this, when I was trying to find my number 5 position, I got on Reddit. Well, I Googled Reddit and then like most badass magic, trying to
Reddit's a good source.
trying to
I
get
think,
other
at
people's-
times, if you know specifically. what you're
yeah,
looking
just
for.
trying to get other people's input on like maybe I missed one. Like
Mhm.
so many people said, well, the one said Harry and then parentheses, I didn't mean to burn that house down, parentheses, Dresden. He's amazing.
I'm gonna have
Truly
to check out-
amazing.
I will take the time when I have it. I promise you. I'll take the time when I have time to look at something Dresden-y. I don't know. I don't have time to read the books, but I will.
I will
do some research on some Dresdens.
I will find it. I have the books, yes. But
So there's comic. Is there comics of
yeah,
it?
I was going to say they turned a couple of the books into full graphic novels. And the books I have like 3 or 4 of them in one. I'll bring it over so you can, like before bed or something, read a couple, pages or whatever.
Okay.
I'm telling you, you'll love it.
Oh, I don't feel that I would.
Stop arguing with me, Michael.
All right, ladies. That's
All right,
good.
so I'm going to end this and jump to number 1. And I just want to say, before I get to my number 1, I am sick in my stomach that you guys did not have this person on there. Not even at number 5, not even as a possible, or maybe this person might have been, but no, you guys didn't mention this person once. We're talking about sorcerers, we're talking about wizards, enchantresses, all these magical users,
I think I know where you're going.
and not one of you son of a
Gandalf.
bitches.
No.
Not one of you guys mentioned Severus Snape.
I knew it.
No, we chose some anime game characters. We chose some, I'm sorry I burnt your house down by accident, people.
Hey,
okay.
He could kick Severus's ass.
This isn't about power.
No, not
This
power.
is about
He was just
character.
He would punch him and beat the shit out of him.
And that's what you think.
I was just going to say, I don't know. Alan Rickman.
Mr. Dresden.
All right, let's hear it.
Why did I pick Severus Snape? Well, first off,
What's his middle name?
Alan Rickman doesn't hurt the case. I don't know what his real name is. I didn't look that part up. I don't think it matters. It's Severus Snape. His middle name means nothing.
It has to be an S.
Probably. What, John, you read all the books. What is his middle name? Do you know?
I didn't.
Well, he's in
ever read the
Slytherin, so it's
books.
got to
You
be.
need to ask Natalie that, bud. that was all Natalie. You need to ask her, bud.
Text her real quick while he's talking.
Yeah, go ahead. So listen here. The life breathed into this character from the page to the screen by Alan Rickman is incredible.
Yeah.
I read the first 2 Harry Potter books. That's as far as I got before I jumped into the Wheel of Time, only because I knew the Wheel of Time was coming out. And I was like, I got time before the Harry Potter show comes out. And even for those first 2 books, I feel like, even though we didn't get to the backstory of Severus yet, Alan Rickman straight pulls it off.
Amazing actor.
I am so sad that he's not with us right now.
Dude, Hans Gruber, when he was not expecting that. Ooh,
I know. If you want to know more about that, listen to our whole entire episode on Die Hard.
it's good.
It is good. Some of his backstory may be truncated and bits might be left on the cutting room floor for the movies that we've been presented with that started in 2001, the same year as Lord of the Rings. However, it doesn't matter because you have a kid that's especially strong in the ways of magic, who's in love with a girl and bullied by a boyfriend. That's a classic story, right? I mean, how many 80s Pretty in Pink movies do we have where this kid, he's pining over Molly Ringwald and the main boyfriend just makes fun of him, but he never gets that girl. Well, here we are again. Alan Rickman, Severus Snape does not get the girl. It could have, this could have been the main reason why he's just mean to Harry, just because he didn't like his dad because his dad was a dick. Man, Harry Potter's dad was a real dick, by the way. Like, just really. When I think of characters that are supposed to be good, I think of the ones that really aren't, like Santa Claus from Rudolph,
like Harry's mom,
and Harry's dad. Well, Harry's mom, I mean, yeah, she was a little bit mean to him, but I don't think she was as mean as Harry's dad was.
You're saying good guys,
No, I just meant ones where Santa Claus is a good guy, but he's mean to Rudolph.
I got.
And then Harry Potter's dad was an exemplary student. He was he was a dick.
He was a bully.
He was mean.
He was a bully.
He was a bully. Harry, don't talk mean about my dad. Your dad was a bully, kid. Face it. Your dad was the high school bully. He was a high school quarterback, and he was a bully.
He got what Voldemort gave him.
I think. Hashtag Voldemort was right. I don't know. Maybe.
Voldemort's secret
At
hero.
least in that sequence. But there's so much more reasons as to why he treated Harry the way he did. It wasn't just because your dad's a dick and I don't like you. It's because your mom was a good person and I loved her and I promised her I will do everything I can to protect you and make sure that you succeed. He's able, if you look at his abilities, he's able to fool Voldemort. He's like a perfect spy. He hatches this plan along with Dumbledore to infiltrate the Death Eaters, to infiltrate Voldemort. The only person that even questions him is Bellatrix. And Voldemort's like, no. Severus is solid, homie.
I mean, he's
solid.
A full-on double agent.
Yeah, right? He even goes as far, and I don't care about the circumstances, he has the coolness to kill Dumbledore. I don't care if Dumbledore didn't fight back. I don't care what the whole circumstance reasoning was. He was like, you know what? I'm still going to have the sand to kill Dumbledore.
Didn't hesitate at all.
Yep. Just to make sure this plan succeeds. Harry gets what he needs. I'm going to take the heat. Everybody's going to hate me. He becomes the headmaster. Everybody hates him. He takes that hate. He takes that venom to do the mission, to finish the mission, to get it done, and to put Harry in a position to defeat the Dark One.
Hell, even when they're actually doing that little battle inside the hall, you can see before he leaves the hall, he takes his other 2 wizards' wands, he grabs them and then jumps out the window, knowing that they would hurt them.
He does everything strategically. Everything is calculated. He holds his emotions to a certain level, he rarely ever, and as soon as he does let those emotions go level, boo, he hops out. He's like, nope, too far. Like, he always knows where he is, and it's always at the right time he needs to be there. And his skill level, let's talk about his skill level as far as the other magicians, because everybody talks Dumbledore, Voldemort, Grindelwald. There's some badass people, right? Severus Snape never lets himself get a bigger head than what he needs to. He probably could be competent and strong enough to deal with some of these people had given the chance, but he keeps himself at a certain level. He took a textbook of potions. He goes, this is substandard. He rewrites the textbook, fixes some of the things that are in it, adds more stuff to it, becomes the Half-Blood Prince, maybe in his own mind, but still, like, redoes the whole entire curriculum. Okay? Like, he's like really one of the most skilled magicians there are in the wizarding world. He really is, but never lets his ego take a hold of him, even though he wants that dark art spot. And let's be real, he should just be handed to him in the beginning. But because it went well with the plan, it didn't happen. And he was able to take a seat in the back of the bus and let it happen. But really, I think if he wanted to fight Voldemort at that end with Nagini, he probably could have.
Oh yeah.
But he's like, you know what?
Easily.
This isn't what
he only got taken down because he got blindsided.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting the last part. He's like, wow, shit.
I mean, Severus Snape, the heart, the soul, the emotion that character has. When we talk about these other characters that have laid it on the line for innocent people and have done what they need to do for the good or the evil, whatever it is, Severus Snape legitimately didn't just put it on the line to save people. He actually died. This guy actually pulled the trigger. He wasn't like, oh, I'll do whatever it takes to save the greater good. No, he actually did it. He legitimately died. For all of you out there that love to say literally, Severus Snape literally died. This wasn't a Marvel where he comes back or DC comes back or some animated character that just resurrects him. No, like he actually dies and it serves a purpose. It's not some just stupid storyline. Severus Snape is the greatest wizard next to Merlin or Gandalf to ever hold a staff or a wand, in my opinion. Say what you will about J.K. Rowling, but this character, just her words and the way it's translated to the screen, and I'm going to be really pissed if they really, I've heard some casting rumors, I'm not going to get into them, but if they really screw up this character in the TV show, it's going to break the fandom. Because I think of all, like, you can handle a little kid as Harry Potter. Like, you can learn to love a kid as he grows older, and maybe his acting gets better. But if you don't hammer down Dumbledore or Snape, those are the two characters right there, I think. If you don't get it right, the only thing that the animal movies got was Dumbledore, I think. I like Jude Law. I think he's a good actor. You can disagree with me if you want. But at least the number one characters, if you don't get Snape correct in this new TV show, it's not going to work.
Agreed.
Because he is the linchpin in everything in the book series. Without Snape, shit doesn't happen. Well, tell me I'm wrong.
I remember reading Deathly Hallows, and it was like 3 a.m. when I got to the point where like you finally learn Snape's backstory.
Spoiler.
It's so heartbreaking.
Like with the tears, and you finally learn everything. Like the veil is pulled back. Here's all the details that we've been alluding to for the last 7 books. And I remember I stayed up all night finishing it because like you could not put it down. It was just...
It's a heart punch.
Like the movies are fantastic, but they don't hold a candle.
No, they let out
level
so
of
much
depth that the last book put into his story.
And yes, I know you guys are listening. You said you only read 2 books. I've done the Wikipedia research. I've done the fandom research. I know the backstory. Okay, it's heartbreaking the stuff that he goes through, and they did leave so much. That's why I am looking forward to the show, because if you get 10 episodes, you get an hour. You know, you're getting a couple seasons, you're getting like 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours per book.
Do you think they'll do a season per book?
I think they will.
Okay.
And if not, they'll at least truncate it to 5 seasons.
Or will they try and do their own standalone new stories? Like,
I don't think so. I think they're going books.
Okay.
I think they're hammering into the material.
I hope so.
John? Do you think they'll? How do you answer that question?
I agree with you. Like, if they don't nail this part in the TV show, it's gonna be bad. But I agree, like, he is a linchpin. Like, I'm, like, over here thinking this, like, without Snape, like, Harry's not going to get that. Like, he's not going to get the cloak. He's not going to get the clues to like the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah,
or
that's
anything
stuff I
like
didn't even bring up.
It's like
He set up everything for
he
the
did.
kid.
He set up all these dominoes to fall like, directly in place, and it's just like yeah, Dumbledore's strong, but like
Snape had to actually do the footwork.
exactly.
He had to get dirty.
They better, yeah. They need to be able to do that correctly. If they one poor casting is going to screw this entire fandom.
How do you feel about my number one pick? Did I flop it or did
No,
I do
you hit
it?
it out of the park.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's not Harry Dresden, but it's all right. It's not
okay.
Margot.
It's okay.
But it's
It's okay.
you know,
It's not Shamaga Gagamba, or what was his name?
Mamungbo.
Yeah, that.
Mamungo.
I had fun. This
Mine's
is a
all
good
good.
episode.
It was a good episode.
I like
But it's
it.
over because I don't have to look at you two anymore.
Well,
But,
I
you know.
like it because
XSplit, delete yourself.
I like it because we were able to look at
I mean,
different fandoms, and because we do. We all three of us come from very different walks of life, and we all have our own likes and dislikes. But this really, I don't know. It really put like right on the front lines. Like here's where, looking at like Dresden. This is why I love him because of this, this, and this.
Uh-huh.
I know you can respect that.
I do. I do respect each
But when
of
you
your
turn
picks.
around, like Severus, like here's why I loved him, and it's things that I might not have thought about, and I loved it.
That's like with my number one picks. It's like if I had that power, I would fuck with people like that. It's just like dead, alive, dead, alive.
John just,
it's just like
if I had number one pick, I'd just hurt people.
See, if I had
no. They fuck with people.
Wow.
They fuck around and find. They're gonna find out. It's just like
if I had the powers of Harry Dresden, I would be trying to help people like he does. You would be torturing a child.
If
would
I had
just
the
be
power of
minding my
Severus
own
Snape, I
business.
might have went a different direction. But I understand he was put under duress. I understand why it's different folks in different situations. But I'm not saying that like he's that's the power I want. But I think it's kind of fucked up that you never really get to see his true power. I feel like they were hidden.
You do, but
so
you don't.
much.
Like you kind of do, and
It's good. He had
Half-Blood
to be
Prince.
a shadow character.
But you kind of do in Half-Blood Prince, like when Harry cast the slicey up, spell on Malfoy, and you quickly learn like, oh, that was Severus's spell. You realize like, dude was making his own spells. He wasn't.
Yeah, he didn't just recreate their curriculum. He added to the
Right.
book.
Like he wasn't just modifying. He was literally creating his own magic.
Yeah, and he was like a third year or something at that point, second, third. Like he was young as shit,
Yeah.
But there it is, guys. Top 5 favorite magic users. Let us know in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? You're like, man, tell us right now whose top 5 is better. Like, who do you agree with the most? Like, I want to know.
Well, we know I won't get it because most people don't read.
You don't. A lot of people do read. That's the thing.
Well, yeah.
And if you didn't like my picks, then you should have added more. Like, be able to come on and add your mind to it.
Yeah, that's right. If you didn't like
out.
John's picks, it's because you didn't email us to be a member on this specific podcast that you definitely knew was going to be recorded. Maybe you should have cast a spell to see into the future. Maybe you should have divined a little bit more. You should have visited the Oracle of Delphi to find out the future of...
Rumpelstiltskin could see into the future sometimes.
Yeah.
But usually it was very cryptic and he didn't know what they meant.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Did you know he's going to be number 5?
Oh, I never got the answer. Who would,
Oh, the Adam Sandler.
yeah, shoot.
Oh, I had an answer too, and I gotta remember what the hell it was.
I said
You go
Dumbledore.
first.
If I had to cast Adam Sandler, I think I would absolutely put him in as Saruman.
Oh, dude. Change my thing. I'm going to make him an end from
I just
like,
want to
Lord
see
of the
his
Rings.
hands on the Palantir. Oh, is that what you call it, a Palantir?
With golf tees taped on his nails.
Have him as the end.
Do you know how
Freebeard.
the orcs were made? I'm picking Adam Sandler's Dobby.
Oh my god, that would be freaking hilarious.
The voice of Dobby.
No, just as Dobby, like a miniature Adam Sandler with the 2001 CGI.
NASA is giving
2002
Dobby a sock.
CGI.
Dobby is free.
No, it'd be more like, why'd you give me a sock?
A sock? This is your fucking
Say
sock
we
over
can do
here?
with the socky. Yeah?
Get a sock.
Oh, yeah, that redlined.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Ow.
Oh, man. Adam
Give Dobby
Sandler.
a Happy Meal. Could just get a Happy Meal. All right, guys. I'm going to hand it over to Josh. But before I do that, John, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time to do the research. John printed out pages.
I did
He
my
has
homework.
paragraphs. John took this seriously. I appreciate it, John. We look forward to having you on in the future. Josh, why don't you roll us out with that beautiful outro that you normally do? I will try my best not to make fun or interrupt you. Roll that beautiful bean footage, my friend.
All right. Well, so like Michael said, do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment down below. If you're on any of the many streaming platforms such as Spotify, iHeartRadio, or even iTunes, I don't really know, but if you can comment or like, do so. I've looked and I can't see if anybody comments. So if you do comment, I apologize. I can't read them.
No excuses. Smash the subscribe button.
Do it.
Smash it.
If you want to get a hold of us, go to X, Facebook, or Instagram. You can leave a message where we will get back to you. Let us know what you think. Let us know whose top 5 was best. Let us know your top 5. Or if you really enjoy what you're hearing, you can always go to patreon.com/Tree of Geek. And for $5 a month, you can join our amazing Patreon where you will get to vote on upcoming episodes as well as a shout out every episode, which, speaking of which, John, as always, thank you for being a Patreon member. And thank you, Unconfined You, for your constant dedication of being subscribed as well. We will get a cup mailed out to you. Send us your address if you're still out there listening. Cups go out to domestic subscribers only. We do not ship internationally.
A lot of shipping and handling for that.
So in 2 weeks, we will be back, and we will be looking at the amazing, the wonderful, the Don't Lose Your Head Over It series known as Highlander.
Here we are, born to be kings. We're the princes of the universe.
Yeah, that. All right. So this is Josh from the Tree of
I
Geek.
forgot that was the next episode.
I am getting out of here. I am sick and tired of these two. I'm leaving. So from the Tree of Geek, this is Josh saying bye.
This is the H train. Deuces. Late. John, say goodbye. Holy shit.
Bye.
Okay, on 3. We'll go 1,
I
2.
couldn't even remember what the fuck it was.
Yeah, I can't.
Power
So
of,
on
the
3.
power of 3 will
So
set
we'll
us
say
free.
1, 2, power of 3. Okay, ready? Power. What the fuck, people? Okay. 1, 2. The
Power.
What the?
You didn't say
Well, I
3.
didn't know. I thought you were explaining how we were
I
going to do it
literally
again.
said on 3.
Yeah, you didn't say 3. You just went silent.
This is like a Lethal Weapon all over again.
You don't say 3. You go on what would be 3.